and we'll get started. Whenever Umwa shows up, we will welcome him in. But until then, we can play. So, everybody ready for D&D?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so last time, it's been a little while since we played, but you all visited a manor on the southern mountainside, above the Veshan Desert. You found that it belonged to a collector who lived in Vesoth before the Redshift, and apparently, according to her journal, um, which was left in a box for somebody to find, as she said in her journal, she evacuated via some powerful magical allies of her own at the time the Redshift was happening. Um, you still have the collector's notebook in your handouts documents folder, so if you want to refresh yourself on that at all, feel free to open that and read it. But that is there for everyone. Now, last we checked, we were planning on leaving the manor and heading back to Chose to report in before the Redshift hits. And then we'll obviously have a little bit of downtime there like usual, and we'll see what's been going on while you guys have been gone for a few days. This is also taking place, I believe we're in the same sequence. No, never mind. Not the same sequence after the cave, because you had to deal with you retreated after the salamander fight. So this is actually your second trip out,
Right.
more or less. So does that sound good with everyone? Should I bring you back into Chose?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, we are here. So first thing I'm gonna have to ask you to do, it takes you a couple days to get back here, obviously. And the Redshift begins on your way. You all do need to make a wisdom saving throw to overcome the glamour put on the collector's house. The magic number is 15, and I'm gonna say because we're hiking, and not necessarily all huddled together, Montlar and your aura will not be applied here. So just everybody's.
So
going
just
on
click
their own.
on Wisdom Saving Throw.
Yes, please, and obviously, Mont, you can have your own aura, but
Right. Question. For those of us that did something like tied a string to our finger, do we get advantage or anything?
sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's about what I was going to ask.
And Alvestaver already has advantage. He has the large gnomish brain.
Do I get double advantage for also tying the string on my finger?
Unfortunately, double advantage is not really a mechanic.
I know, I just wanted to sound...
Unless you take that cool, like, elf feat. Oh,
There's a
shit.
cool-
You actually just made the 15, Montlarin.
Well done.
Good job.
It stretched your brain just a little bit.
Nice double crit.
Well done.
I am forgetting that place.
So, yeah, none of you have any issue remembering that the house exists. You can sort of feel the enchantment tugging on your mind as you leave, as though politely requesting that you don't remember your visit. But you are able to refuse that temptation. And you do, in fact, remember everything that you saw and explored in that manner, and you'll be able to report it in to everybody who needs to know about it.
I'm gonna have to get like a silver ring embossed with "remember" on it,
Yeah, right. There'll definitely have to be some measures taken here, um, unless oh, no problem. Unless somebody like Dex decides it's in the best interest to dispel the whole thing, but we'll have to see what he says. Um,
Yeah, it's an interesting find.
Yeah.
there are definitely a few things to report in on at Chose, but I'd like to know what is your first plan as you're all coming in.
First plan?
Yeah, yeah. What are you like? You're all getting back into the town gates, into the inner Chose Fort area down
I
under the obelisk.
kind
Yeah,
of
we
figured
Um,
we'd all go to the Brigadier and give our report.
yeah, I was gonna say these guys tend to follow me to the Brigadier and give a report.
as usual, perfect. Okay, great. So it's just looking up a note. So you find her in her new quarters, which is under one of the canopies belonging to Capua on the north side of the city. It is very nicely shaded and cool. Um, and basically at this point, her whole desk and bed situation has been moved all the way from Orvis over to here. Um, so everything she needs to do her business is intact, and she's even set up a sort of slightly more elaborate courier system now that she's far away from being able to personally hand off letters and such things to people to deliver all the way back home. You know, mailboxes and stuff. So that things can get done efficiently. Um,
A genuine Pony Express.
yeah. Um, Welcome back. How did it go? Any dragons?
No
No.
dragon. But we found a super awesome archaeological site. I mean,
Oh,
Yeah, in fact,
actual.
I would
Yeah,
say it was probably not even touched by dragons given the condition the things were left in.
most
well,
likely. Yeah.
that's great
It's
news.
pristine.
Honestly, this place. Uh, I don't know. This is a really good place. I don't know.
It could be a good place to set up an additional fort. It's a good lookout. It's got a telescope that has a view. We got to see the tower at Vess, and by golly, that thing looks messed up when you see it at the base.
Yeah, exactly. I was. I'd be remiss to suggest anything that costs more money, but putting an obelisk there might be a good idea.
I think it would be
Though I
smart
don't know
to
how.
have Decus or somebody take a look at it to
Yeah,
see if it can
exactly.
fulfill some particular function that would justify a second smaller obelisk. It's just so great. It's so perfect and it already has a teleportation circle in place. It just seems like it would be a really great place for a
Oh,
secondary base.
Well, the teleportation system is like an open back door. Like that's both a cool thing, but also like I don't know how that works exactly. I feel like that's like having your ass out in the wind.
my
That's a good
understanding is
point.
that anyone who knows the sigil sequence and obviously is capable of casting the spell can access it. So
See, I have a minimal understanding
in
of Arcana, and I know that.
certain now, you did not hear this one from me, but in certain castles, I have heard that they keep their teleportation circles under rugs so that guests cannot easily notice or memorize them. Turns out they work fine from under a rug. You just teleport on top of the rug and everything. So
Cute.
uh, we
Well,
could.
there's no like. I've heard horror stories of people accidentally teleporting hands into rocks. There's no like feet into the carpet scenario.
I can't say I've heard, but I'll watch out for that next time. But in any case, my point was, as long as if there actually is an intact teleport circle there, and we're certain this doesn't mean that it's another layer of these dragons, then it might be a little bit um, risky to take. But the benefits of having that kind of device has potential, and we could do something as simple as cover it up to protect it.
I have
Right?
one question, sir.
Yeah.
How is the runes put into the stone back at the place, the
Uh,
observatory?
Traditionally, so normally, painted or carved. In this
That's right.
case, they were carved into the stone.
I would have taken some time, or can I have taken the time, rather? That's a better question. To have rubbed on each of the main sigils of the circle, or does it not work that way?
That would take a lot of time that we did not necessarily say that we were spending. In the case of, um, I will say, you can, but Albus, you also know that if somebody like Dex goes there to check it out, he's just going to look at it and write it down anyway.
Oh, I was going to give them to Decus, seeing
Yeah, I
as
know. I know
maybe
Alvis went ahead and wrote it down what he saw. He may not have taken rubbings, but
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
know.
would have made like little tiny small notations and everything, and maybe he would have put like a footnote with like his best drawing of the circle. But in order to get like real detailed stuff, he's a pedant that way. My thinking was that if he could get rubbings of the main circle and remember which what the sequence or whatnot, he could give it to
yeah,
Decus.
you have
Decus
to
had
remember the order so you can put them all.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And it'd just yep, exactly.
if
It's
the
just
rest of the party is okay with you having spent that time doing that, which take 20-30 minutes to.
I would have not only let him do that, but I would have taken the time with, more adept wizardliness and a pretty high arcana skill. I probably would have tried to just copy the actual whole thing and copy it in a way that, while it might not be picture perfect accurate, it captures all of the actual, useful information in it.
Right.
almost
Yeah, again, it's
none
like
of it.
a 32 sequence of sigils, right? So you just need to get those right.
Yeah,
The rest of the circle is a sort of function you plug those all into. So yeah.
exactly. So, I'd apply more of that sort of technique, and I guess we can take the rubbings to get the more like perfect appearance of each one.
Yeah, so okay. If you then hand one full sheaf of rubbings plus one uh single paper of the sketch to the brigadier, she'll take them, or rather she'll probably tell you to you can pass those along to Dex. That sounds like a good idea. And
Maybe we can teleport there next
I
redshift. Waning redshift, I mean.
right. I was talking to him the past few days about the potential to use uh that lightning location you all had found as a means of potentially harnessing that and recharging our batteries and whatnot. He seemed optimistic to that idea. So if we have a house, then um that makes the decision even easier, I would say. Yeah, maybe this is doable.
I
I
mean,
can send Dex
it's
and a team to go
small.
check it out next week.
We're not talking about a really huge place. There's a dining room, a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom, and a lab.
It was so quaint that I was thinking that after all this, I might request it. It'd just be such a lovely like chateau in the middle of the desert.
For your own house, if you'd like to live all the way out here, keep all the memories of it.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. But we've made do with smaller buildings before as forts, so
Yeah, it might be a really
welcome evergreen.
great welcome. It might be a really great like wizards something folly. I don't know. Especially with that teleportation circle if it works. Otherwise, it's a 2-day hike in and out.
Well, I think the other thing that's useful about it, especially with the teleportation circle, is the idea that I don't know how far back the obelisks are connected, but if we're able to contact the Cradian Empire itself with this teleportation circle, in a moment's notice, we can teleport in an entire army to counter an entire army coming at us.
Well,
Right.
I mean, at great cost, but yeah.
Well,
an entire.
That's a pretty huge advantage, though, when we're looking at
Yeah,
war
there
options.
is a reason most people don't teleport armies. Usually, you find small squadrons. I believe the limitation is around a dozen or so people at a time. But
I mean, the concept is sound, though.
it is, yes, at its core. If we can, we should have. There should be somewhere. I know between any of Dex's colleagues and a few others among the Empire's employ. I know that there are some wizards who are able to take advantage of these things, so we might be able to employ one or two of them to uh, act as a sort of emergency supply contact. And well, that would be a great thing if we ever happened to somehow lose contact with the backline at this point.
Also, I don't know if it got mentioned while I was AFK, but the way it's protected by a glamour would make it like the perfect office for a network of spies or rangers or scouts.
That exactly.
Right.
yeah, and with the
Oh, you didn't mention that.
telescope there, it
You're able to keep an eye on Vess.
In fact, that's something I wonder if we can modify or upgrade that telescope, or just put down another one in the same spot, basically.
Right, replace the antique with something more functional.
And actually one that we can hook up for Orissa to be able to look through. So we've got a permanent scout at that location.
Clever.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell us. That's a good idea. Tell me more about this glamour. So it's protected, enchanted.
Yeah, that's why we didn't all actually see it the first time. Some of us saw just plain hills with nothing there. Some of us saw the house. And when we did it the second time, different people could or couldn't see it until we got close enough that, there was no missing it.
So tie a scarf around your wrist. Sounds like the way to get around that.
Yeah.
As long as you know it's there in advance, right?
Or I think somebody had the one of those purple roof tiles that fell off. One of a kind. Never seen those.
Okay. I will make a note for Dex and his team Um, you said you were able to use this telescope to look at Vess. What did you see? We have no idea what's over there.
The base has a bunch of tentacles coming out of it.
But not like organic tentacles. They weren't moving.
No, but the tower is as shifted as everything else. Maybe even more so, given that like it really does look like it exploded out of the ground as a series of tentacles at this point.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised about that.
No, but it's still kind of horrifying when you actually see it through the lens. I mean, it's like, what the heck?
No doubt.
You're sure you saw the base of the tower?
Well, we saw where the tower and the ground met.
Yeah,
Wasn't there a crater?
Yes, Albus Tower there was.
Yeah. So there was a crater, and the tentacles did surround the base of it. So that's pedantically a negative. We did not see the base.
Yeah, I fixed it. I can hear you guys now.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Excellent. Welcome back.
Thank you. I actually thought I was going to get here about 7:20, but no, 7:32.
No worries.
2 accidents on I-5.
Ooh, fun.
Oh, it's always that one. There's no way around that one stretch between like Carlsbad and Laguna. And it's just it's a narrow corridor. It's the only way, and everyone's either going 85 or stopped.
Right, or hitting the person in front of them.
Yes.
Right. So she says, crater. Vess is supposed to be a city, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's probably gone because we didn't see it.
That's a negative. No city.
All right then. Well, we'll have to get a closer look when we get there, I suppose. But that certainly helps. Keeps us from being surprised anyway.
By the way, just to test something, do you remember the house that we just talked about?
Yes.
Good.
I understand. Yes, perhaps the magic doesn't work at such a distance.
Yeah, I was actually kind of curious if referential knowledge of the house, once it had been confirmed, was covered.
Good thinking. Then we'll make sure to tell everybody about the house up front and warn them about the enchantment up front, and then that should allow them to, at least the whole team collectively, to properly not get
Yeah,
misled.
you'll just need to make sure that at least one person can actually see it.
Yeah, maybe post a sign, you know?
And then even if the others are subject to the glamour, once they get close enough, they'll see it. They just won't remember it later.
Tattoo it on their wrist, you know, something like there is a house there, like memento.
I don't think we need to go quite that far, but as I said, a scarf, I think.
I feel as if that's a very a druid way of thinking, you know, having somebody, at least one person who can see the thing to guide a person there. I mean, I do have a map. Just put it right here.
Yeah, just annotate it so you're not surprised when you follow it to the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, there's a house here.
Exactly. Just circle. There is a house here. I swear. You might not see it.
In addition, I actually shapeshifted and went down the drain, so to speak, to see what there was. So far, it seems as though the plumbing is broken, like quite broken. So, there is no water incoming. This house actually has indoor plumbing and a bathtub and a toilet.
Also,
but it doesn't work anymore. It kind of looks as though the water table that supplied water for the incoming has reduced enough that it does not function.
The
So,
electrical mechanisms work just fine.
right, but the actual water is not there.
Oh yeah, the house even has automated servants.
Yes, and the exit of water through the drain in the lab is long, and it's got some things that it does, but again, it's just if you can't bring water in, then there's no water going out.
Understood. Well, that's unfortunately not one of my specialties, so I'll leave it to the engineers to deal with that one. What do you mean automated servants?
I mean, the mechanical system seems to power golems.
Hmm.
Once you insert them to slots keenly designed with gold and wires built into the very wall itself, similar to what we have found with the tower, the house is a mechanical wonder. It belongs in a protected museum inside of a building by itself. With
Well, I mean, the building is a museum, right?
yeah, yes, exactly.
That was our
exactly.
plan, right?
No,
I
no,
get your
it's
point.
like it's a treasure. Like, like wizards in those penny tales that I used to read and waste my money on. Like they would gather these kinds of buildings inside pocket dimensions just for themselves.
Well, in effect, this manor is a pocket dimension in some ways.
Close, yeah.
All right, we'll have to take good care of it then.
Yeah, I think it represents an amazing but kind of small opportunity. I'm not sure for what, but if you look at it, Decus looks at it, maybe you guys can come up with something that is a good reason to continue to maintain it, and because it just seems like such a great opportunity.
We can always make use of more safe houses, and it sounds like there's plenty to investigate. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Most assuredly a safe house.
Now, I haven't heard back yet from Mortier's team. If all has gone well for them, I'm hoping they'll be back momentarily. But I wanted to let you all know that we did uh receive a report from our northerly scout team. They spotted something interesting out in the desert, a little ways out from the foothills. Uh, they requested a team go check it out. Sounds like a uh, strange pink forest, according to the report.
Yeah.
Pink, you say?
Pink in the sands, covered
Huh.
in mist. They weren't sure what to make of it and didn't want to get involved in anything too dangerous, so they decided to report back.
Why are there always mists?
They said it was in the shadow of one of the mountains, so perhaps that's it.
Well, I imagine these mountains have harbored secrets for millennia, so not surprised.
Anyway, I'll most likely be sending a team out to that next week as well. But if you all would like to take that on yourselves, then please feel free.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
As for everything else, uh, I think Soriana mentioned that she had your grease ready. Uh, and I know Nami has been working on that skiff. I think they've got some blueprints put together, or at least sketches. So Um, was there anything else that you wanted to note about the house?
Well, we have this journal that they left.
Oh,
Yes, the journal.
left by the owner.
Yeah.
It was really nice with this sketch I made.
Oh, all right then. She takes it and flips through it, and she says,
Oh yeah, and I explain in detail what kind of mechanism I think is powering the house, Sunspark. Since I was able to deduce that.
you describe it as like a ruby, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She says, "Huh, I think I've heard of something like that. That's interesting. Uh, this why is the writing all jumbled up like this? It
What do you
doesn't
mean?
look like she wrote it that way."
It might have something to do with the glamour, but it might be the way she wrote it. We don't know.
Could be the Redshift.
Hmm.
True.
Yeah. Well, this Various saw the redshift begin and got away.
It's nice for them to have been able to do that. It's quite a luxury.
Yeah, it would have been awesome if there was some way to maybe trace back a lineage or something, see if anybody in the Empire knows of this person.
See, it says, oh, she said she went to Orokos. Well, that's a little unfortunate, though.
This also
Orocos?
happened 1,000 years ago, so we have no idea how old she might be or dead.
1,000. Hmm.
Yeah, but there might be another journal from outside of this area. Maybe not.
Well, if she wasn't an elf, then I suppose she might have been okay. Uh, but Orokos is not a good place to go nowadays.
Oh?
So, uh, vampire territory. You haven't heard of it?
I'm fairly naive to the wider world. I was born underground, you see.
um, she says, right. I forgot that you didn't receive formal schooling. I apologize.
No, it was like guild schooling. It's honestly it should be better, right? They have more money than like most tutors do.
So I suppose it might be nice if there was a consistent curriculum. Anyway, um, it's far away and uh, said to be ruled by vampires. So, like I said, that's a little unfortunate. Um, I doubt
Not the
we
good
can.
kind of vampires.
I'm not sure
The
there is a
good
good
kind?
kind.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they couldn't exist, the draw from a deck of many things. But
Not true.
Well, I mean the kinds that you make deals with so that they don't like terrorize people or the cities.
well, it doesn't necessarily make them good. That just means that they'll negotiate their terrorism.
It also doesn't guarantee they'll keep their word, but again, negotiation.
What I hear, now this is really getting into hearsay because people don't usually come out of that place. The Orokoyan king is said to indeed make quite a many deals, and most of them involve hiding away your life or your death. depending. It's again, it's far away and difficult to think about how one person might fix such a thing.
Maybe like we could put some like archaeological word out there of this journal being found, and then maybe they're a vampire. Maybe they want the journal back.
Well,
I'm not sure that we're willing to give it up, are we?
I don't know what kind of information a vampire from this time could have to help
I
us.
mean, I suppose we might be as long as we copy it first.
you know what, Grontassel, if I am able to find a Veshan vampire, I will get you a Veshan vampire.
You would get a Veshan vampire for me? I don't even need you to actually do that. Just you saying that is good enough.
It's okay. It would be mostly for me at that point, but yes, we can. Um, we'll make note of this and see if anybody at home can dig up any information about this Varia. Perhaps she did travel elsewhere, or maybe she is indeed still alive somehow. That would be a long lifespan even for an elf, but
Elven Veshan vampire.
um, assuming she is some kind of elf, of course.
Or gnome. I've heard that they live much longer.
Than elves?
That's what I was always told, or at least that's what I've always liked to believe.
I think they're close to par. Last I checked, but I
They're
don't.
timeless. You never see an old gnome. Gnomes don't die of old age.
I thought all gnomes look like old gnomes.
Yeah, they just look old like when they come out. That's just how it is, right?
I will not take this slander. We're pudgy.
You're not pudgy. You're like 30 pounds.
We have well-defined features.
Yeah.
I am exactly 35 pounds. Good call.
Jesus Christ.
I am 2'5" too. I'm not even 3 feet tall.
Yeah, like you're small for a gnome.
Yeah. Born underground, you see.
Right, yeah. God, where the fuck was I? She says, all right, well, we will keep this notebook for now. This is useful information, and it should probably be preserved. So, we'll put it somewhere safe. As long as that's all right with you all. And
I think it would make sense to copy it down
yeah.
just as we see it. And then, as Alvis has mentioned, should we find somebody who wants it, it might be a nice negotiating tool. And then we have a copy already done.
Agreed.
See,
Yes,
you're
and
thinking
I
like,
will in my next report I will put out a request to see if anybody can track down this Varia, any information about her, and should we find anything, perhaps we'll find something useful.
now you're thinking like one of the guild traders. Use the ancient artifact that's falling apart or preserved by magic as a bartering tool and copy the useful information down for yourself. Both sides.
Well, I'll use a book, maybe shy away on the magic wands and whatnot. Anyway, okay. Was there anything else?
Tell me about the grease. Was she able to find a stable form that's able to be used more than once and kind of actually be
I did
infused
not
in
get the
things?
details, so I recommend you check with her.
Okay, sounds good.
All right then. So if the team decides to go do that, we can jump over to Soriana's lab. But before that, Albus Taver, a word with you privately before you run off.
What?
Yes.
Who catches his attention?
I have received a letter for you. It landed in my mailbox. So here you are. This is going to go in player journal. Albus Taver. There he is, all the way at the bottom. That is from your club. I also have this one for me about you. You asked me earlier if you could join the military when we're done here. Let me paraphrase this. Officially speaking, you are already an enlisted member of the Redshift Expeditionary Commission, which is a military branch operation within the Redshift Zone, and so on. And on the hitherto expected dissolution of the RAC at the completion of the organization's mission, all members will be honorably dismissed per your original contract. Right, you know all of that. However, if a member has proven a valuable asset to the Empire, is in good standing, and wishes to hold permanent rank, they may make such requests through Brigadier Demira or Captain Vanther Zexiath. So, and he also said map makers are desirable, in a few more words. So there you have it.
Wait, one more time? I'm sorry.
Uh,
Uh,
if you would like a spot in the military, we can arrange it
fantastic.
once we're
Sorry.
done.
He was also looking over the letter while she was talking at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
and a
yeah.
literal like words coming and combining together moment happened.
Again, like I said, once we're all done here, so we'll have plenty of time for paperwork at the end. So just make sure you don't go get killed before that happens, okay?
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I'm actually happy to hear this.
Good news for me, Club.
Yes, great news. Apparently, I'm up for a promotion after this too.
Oh,
Yeah. There might also be means to the Corner Club is a club after all, and they remind me that the two organizations do not have to be mutually inclusive or exclusive, rather. So I seem to have a lot of opportunities in the future. The cards and the dice are rolling and being thrown my way. It seems.
good then. Keep it up.
No, thank you. It's all because of your good administration work.
Well, I will take that compliment then and keep what I'm doing too.
And the only downside about this letter is that apparently Sharp has been shirking on his details. And they didn't ask me to tell Sharp to do better. They told me to do his job for him.
I did notice he hasn't been sending nearly as many letters back as you actually. So, well, if that is part of your other job description, then I suppose I'll leave it to you to have a talk with him. I don't really care, honestly.
Oh no, it was me more griping about, that if there is any like bad thing about this is the fact that I was told to do work for somebody instead of just telling them to do work. Ah, well. All right, I'm gonna scurry off.
All right, farewell.
Later.
So I assume you meet up with the team by the time Soriana is unloading a kobold double armful of tins upon you, and she's wearing her sun hat at this point, meeting you outside, and she says, "Yep, yep, I got it all ready for you. I was able to refine everything like you suggested. Uh, whoever is in front, she thrusts the pile of tins upon you.
Um, I guess I'll
Tins of what?
Can't be me.
ask
Back.
someone to help. Like, hey, give me a hand here.
While you are attempting to hold all of these, she explains. Uh, didn't really come up with a name for it yet. Besides just spark grease, it's not amazing, but it'll work. Like you said, should be able to apply it to weapons and get a nice spark out of them temporarily. Tested it a little bit on a couple people around camp, and it works great. For about 10 minutes per dose. Then it tends to dry up and just kind of rub off. So if you need to kill something with electricity or lightning, there you go. Um, so mechanically, what each one of these will do, uh, you have 10 canisters. Each canister contains enough grease to coat 3 weapons or 9 pieces of ammunition. Um, for the next 10 minutes, anything you've greased will deal lightning damage plus an additional 1d10 lightning damage. And then it dries up after 10 minutes or after you if you're using arrows or something after you hit something.
Interesting.
And she says she scoots a kobold-sized keg into view. Here's all the extra. Technically, this all you're entitled to this. If you want more of that stuff, I can make it. But I decided, in case you think of anything else, I kept the other half in this keg.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I think I've thought a little bit more about my proposal of something that's like a more stabilized version. And I think if you use a softer like liquid metal like maybe mercury or gallium or um maybe one of those combined with gold along with this grease, you'd actually be able to create a stable enough product that the um it wouldn't expend the grease on use. It would just be kind of a part of the whole thing. And in doing so, it would be something where it would just be able to um, hold electricity for lightning for a whole long time and slowly dose it out as needed instead of just in, one big burst. The idea is making something that's essentially the size of a sort of battery that can fit in a weapon and won't wear out because it's made into more of a stabilized structure. That
Uh,
yes, you're using the grease to hold the electricity, but the metal is there to help conduct it and prevent it from being expended.
Well, I can try. It might take some experimenting. Um,
I feel like you might have to like what's the term when you crotch hatch something into one surface in order to give it surface for another one to get grip onto. Basically, when
um,
you file down two ends to have an adhesive, stick to it better. And I feel as if like maybe the metal is acting like an adhesive in this case to the weapon.
I have to see if maybe if I instead of grease got it all the way to a resin and then see if the electricity still works. I
There you
maybe.
go.
I don't know. I don't know about mercury. I think that kills you. But I can try with other metals. I might end up if you're okay with it, I'll use what I have here and try a few of those things. Um, so I I guess I'll get to work on that.
That would be fantastic. Even if we're only able to make 3 or 4 permanently electrified weapons, that's gonna be insurmountably more effective against the dragonkin that we've fought so far. And I think it'll really help us when we get into some of the battles against them once more when it inevitably happens.
I do like how there is some of this stuff left. Just I'm gonna set aside a smaller 2 or 3 jars of this. Like I'm not gonna carry it anywhere. It's for crafting.
Yeah, however you guys want to split the 10 cans, they're gonna be 1.5 pounds each. Um, and I leave it to you to split them amongst your inventory.
I'm
I
wondering. I got some tinkering skills going on.
I figure
Uh,
we keep most of them
I,
stashed, but yeah, if you're
yeah,
looking to
yeah,
use some
exactly.
of them for the what's it called experiment for Keen's vehicle,
It's a rat golem.
then that's understandable.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking. Is that though this might not serve itself as the energy source, I did get a really good look at the mechanisms that were going on in the Sunspark building, and that observatory that's helped me a little bit in how we might design this.
Excellent. Um, I guess yeah, it would be a good idea. Everyone who uses a melee weapon would probably go out with one per mission or event, and if you don't end up needing it, that's fine. You carry it along to the next one, and the ones that stay in reserve are the ones that stay in reserve. And if we
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
use more than one can, you know, that's each one is 3 uses or 9 on projectiles. So
Yep.
just 2 cans is probably going to be more than enough for a any given major battle we come across in the wild. Um,
How many uses per one cat?
You can
3 or 9 ranged.
there's enough to apply to a melee weapon 3 times or 9 pieces of ammunition.
Okay.
And if Soriana is able to find a way to refine this stuff down into some sort of a resin that is still able to conduct and hold electricity and do the thing for us, then I suppose the ones that are already converted to this grease form can be further processed. So if we don't use them all by that point, then we can commit more of them to that more permanent utility. The one other thing I wonder, is there a way to use a thin coating of it to, I guess, channel electricity away from the body? So if somebody is struck with a lightning bolt, for example, it will burn off the grease and not hurt them, but kind of go over the surface that they've applied it to. Is that the sort of thing that's even feasible, or not really? Like a
He
protective
says
use?
that might work actually. Um, you'd probably have to use a full can to, cover armor. But
Soak our fireproof armor in electricity proof. I see what you're doing, stacking.
Yeah, well, that would be the idea, is if there's a way that we could, once, if the resin form works, a very, very thin sort of filament of it inlaid into the leather that would be able
So
to absorb and channel away electricity when it hits us.
I was about to say you could actually boil the leather inside of the grease or oil in question, and it will take up the the oil inside of it.
I worry that that would still cause you to get shocked, and in fact, much worse.
Maybe.
You're trying to keep it on the most outside contours of the body, so that way, if lightning hits it, it's being channeled away, not through you.
I was gonna say maybe it would just conduct it so that it just sort of like stays on top of your body until just discharged. That would be neat. Kind of like a shocking hands, it'd be like you get shocked and then you shock something when you touch it. Like when I rub
I
my
get
feet
you.
against carpet.
I didn't actually test that out at all because I can't shoot lightning. So if you test it, tell me what happens.
Sounds good. Again, that's the
I,
sort of thing that I'd want to wait until we figure out whether the resin is a viable thing, because if we're going to commit resources to this, it would be something I'd want to be able to put on everybody's armor, if it's especially something that we can do permanently. And even if it
right.
doesn't, obviously it's not going to take all of the damage off, but something that takes an edge off, kind of like this stuff doesn't make us immune to fire, but just having a resistance would be pretty
Well, the
useful.
other thing that might need to be addressed is if we apply this as a mitigation against lightning damage, does it also prevent us from dealing lightning damage? Right now, for example, the fire resistant armor that we have does not prevent us from casting fire damage. So I would want to make sure that whatever we use for lightning also does not prevent us from casting lightning damage.
I wouldn't think so, because your hands and any implements that you'd be using to cast a lightning spell would be away from the areas that it's trying to channel electricity. We don't want it to channel down your arms through your hands into the ground or whatever you're touching. So it'd be more trying to channel it across and down your body.
I mean, that just means I have to take off my gloves whenever I cast now.
No, you just wouldn't have your gloves set up with the lightning stuff.
Okay.
Oh.
But I don't, even with that, I'm not sure if it would have that sort of effect, because it's you're projecting it away. You're not projecting it towards yourself.
Good point.
I think it depends how the magic works too. It's like, are you channeling it through yourself and then out? Or are you just sourcing it from the atmosphere and then channeling it out?
I think in most cases you would be channeling the arcane energy or whatever your source of energy is up to the point where it's being emitted, but then it's kind of catalyzed into the lightning at that point.
Yeah, I would have to do some research for druids. It might be that we actually channel it from within our bodies.
Well, even still, I don't think that would necessarily be a problem with this.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see if it's even feasible first before we cross that threshold, of course. Well, all right then. Sorry, Anna. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your efforts and research in this. And should we ever come across another one of those creatures, maybe I guess maybe we can capture one so we can at least get a better look and a better harvest.
Nice.
Well, I mean, we did take the whole thing home.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we used most of it. I think. I think they already ate the rest of it. But I was able to get all the good parts anyway.
Well, all right then. That pink sand thing definitely sounds interesting.
Okay, I wondered if that was where you were thinking we might go next. It's certainly intriguing to me.
Right?
Yeah. Did you hear about that at all, Soriana?
I heard some people came back and they were talking about weird trees.
Weird trees,
Weird trees?
pink mist, or pink sand and mist area in the shadow of the mountains.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like anyway.
Huh.
I was busy, so I didn't ask.
Did you catch what they said about the trees?
Just that they were pink.
Oh.
Huh, okay.
Well, all right. So there might just be a splotch of pink in that area. Interesting. Well, we might be going off to check that out. If anything cool is growing there, we'll see if we can bring some seeds or something back. All right. Was there anything? I think that's it for visits for me on this one. I'd probably be using the rest of the downtime to either make scrolls or copy over more spells from other wizard spell books.
Yeah, let's see. I think the only other thing is that about well, let's see. We'll say you guys got
Well,
back here in the morning.
yeah.
So
I guess it would be, before calling it a day, seeing if Mordier's team has come back, or otherwise asking like approximately where they should be coming from.
well, yeah, I was just about to say they arrive at dusk. Looking a little haggard. But everybody is here. So Angela, Sharp, Lulu, Kuromizawa, and Jabberlax. I guess who would be closest to the southwest gate at this time? Around dusk.
I might have been kind of waiting around for them.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, Alvis camps out around there, doesn't he?
I do camp. I camp around the garden area, don't I?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
he's around the south rather than southwest.
Got it.
Yeah, it was close. That's why I wanted to ask.
Perhaps this will end up being a walking conversation through the center street. So Nimbus, you notice on top of the buildings that sort of make up the outer inner wall of this little fort, the gate guards have set up little camps up on top of those buildings where they have ladders up and they hang out waiting for people to be let in. So there's a whistle and a wave and a ho and the doors are opened, and in comes Angela's team. Um, again, looking a little ragged at this point. Um, so they do they do see you. But I'll leave it up to you if you want to go
Yeah. Well,
interact with them and intercept them before they get to the brigadier.
welcome back. We were a little worried. I was a little worried about you folks. What
Pearl says, we made it. You missed out on the good stuff this time.
Oh, what was the good stuff?
Fuck.
Angela sighs and says, some kind of facility and filled with crazy golems.
Electrified.
Sharp, you almost got punched in half. Sharp says, I effectively avoided being punched in half, uh, and led them directly to Jabberlax, uh, who aptly tripped them over. So, yes. Pro says, we took care of it. We went inside, they all woke up. They seemed mad at us. But we shut it down and got out alive, like usual.
Good job.
Interesting
Lulu
facility.
says, but aside from getting chased through a huge building, uh, we should probably tell the brigadier, shouldn't we? I mean, she probably wants to
You
be the
should
first
go
to
do your
know.
report first. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to come? I think that's okay.
Yeah, I
Oh
kind of
yeah,
want
I
to
would tag
listen.
along. Yeah.
All right. You all
Any
go.
excuse.
Um, uh, and pile into the small office.
Hi again.
Angela is the one who usually gives her report for her team, so she takes the lead and she says, well, we went to the location that was suggested, this Paliday, supposedly, village. We didn't find any signs of village there. It must have been long gone, and decayed. But we did find the building that the scouts found. We were able to. Well, there was several entrances. We were able to get into one of them, but we couldn't go further because um Sharp, you have a bunch of those, right? He pulls out a from his coat a bundled stack of um small files. He has like a dozen of them. Um Angela says, we found behind the door a mountain of these. I'm not really exaggerating. There must have been thousands and thousands of them all piled up. Um, uh, we took a look, and Sharp picked up a few that might look interesting. He says, I intend to pass them along to Miss Soriana once we're done here to investigate. But Angela says we couldn't get through because it was completely clogged up with all of these. Um, and the ones that weren't broken, most of them looked like they were full of these unidentified substances um, and uh, sealed shut tight. So we thought it would be okay to take some of them. Uh, we found another door on the opposite side, but when we broke in, um, all of the golems activated and became hostile. We had to fight them and we had to destroy them. Um, the only thing is that um, I think we found one of the proxies that Arisa was talking about.
Nice.
Wow.
But it was like a Kuro says some kind of ghost made of just arms and legs telling us to or telling all the golems to eject the intruders. Uh we tried to talk to her but she wouldn't hear any of it. No matter what we said. Said we were from the commission. Uh I even said, "Hey, we're from Vesoth," and got no response. We were gonna try to take out the golems and then talk to her after it was safe, but um, Angela says during the fight, there was a fire and part of the building even collapsed, and the um, the crystal that I believe is the center of the proxy was destroyed.
Oh no.
We couldn't figure out how to get it back together. Or I don't know that we can. Um, so the facility is inert and safe. Um, you can send you can send people to investigate and check it out and maybe figure out something useful out of that huge pile of stuff. Um, uh, but you know that's it. Um, Sharp says, uh, judging from how many there were and how many were scattered about the place, plus the way the golems were organized around, I would say that must have been a factory for experimental tonics of some sort. Um, at least that's my guess.
I mean, that has potential to be interesting.
Um, Lulu says, oh, also, she holds up a jar full of orange goo, and she says that they had this poor little slime locked up in a box, and it must have been there for 1,000 years. And then in the fight, it got blasted to bits by a golem. So I figured we might as well make some use of it, and I think you guys were looking for ooze.
I like ooze.
What can
Yeah,
we use
yeah.
it?
As
What can
a
we use it for?
as a source of acid, right?
What can we ooze it for? Yes,
I
I
thought
believe
it-
we're strong acid.
Is it
Yeah,
useful?
as long as the ooze is still was alive, it should still be potent enough to do what you need it to do. So
Oh,
anyway,
hell
I thought
yes.
that and made sure to collect some. So here you go.
Nice.
Thank you.
The brigadier says, uh, well, if there was nothing you could do for the proxy, then there was nothing you could do.
I know this almost makes up for it, though.
Uh, it would have been
Almost.
nice if we were able to talk to another one, but it sounds like it was not capable, perhaps. Um, I might want to talk to Arisa about that, and perhaps I'll have your opinion on the side
Yeah,
to
maybe she
corroborate.
can figure out something that would work.
Well, any other details? I can take all that down and prepare to send another team over there to review the mess, I suppose. And Angela says, "Nope, that's everything. I think." Brigadier says, "Okay, it's late. Get some rest. Get patched up. Um, we'll talk to Arista in the morning about it. We don't you don't need to stay up and worry yourselves."
And I assume we're all filing out.
Well, that depends on you. Yeah, everybody else. Any more thoughts to add to that report?
Once the proxy was defeated, did you notice if any of the other openings actually opened?
Openings?
You said there was only one way in.
Oh, that's right. She says there was the glass files piled into a mountain entrance, and there was the other entrance on the opposite side. That was all we found. Um, it didn't even have windows.
Okay, this is weird, but my DoorDasher wrote me a personal thank you note.
Oh,
Personal.
congratulations!
I don't think it's weird.
It's super weird. I have never ever had a DoorDasher take any moment out of their time to write me a personal thank you note.
Did you actually tip them? A lot of people don't tip.
Oh, I always tip a Dasher.
Hey,
That may be why.
I've
Well,
gotten one before. I don't
Anyway.
think.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, just what? Just weird.
Yeah. So she says there were the two entrances.
Okay. Well, that also seems intriguing. Obviously, getting Arissa over there would mean an obelisk or a one-way with one of those spying devices at the very least.
Yeah, even though the original proxy is out, I wonder if there might be a way to get the Orisa there.
Kuro says, well, there's not much there aside from a empty building and mostly empty building filled with a bunch of dead rock at this point. Half collapsed and half burned down too.
Was the mountain of files destroyed?
No, weird thing. Well, there weren't any of the golems in that room. We were able to get at it from the other side. But after the whole business, after the whole fight, um, It seemed like they might have been piling them up in that room, um, for some reason before we got there.
Hmm.
Well, I guess it would have been a long time ago because I think we turned them on when we got in there. Who knows how long they were not doing anything for?
Right. Okay.
I wonder if you were the first people in there since the shift, or if somebody else had been there.
Mm.
Well, we should probably at least send a crew to grab that mountain of vials and figure out what they're all about.
Sharp says that is why I took a viable sample of them, and I will make my trip to Soriana and drop them off with her, and I trust she'll be able to get some idea of what's in them, and then I'm going to have a bath and go to sleep because we have been camping out for 4 days.
Priorities.
Reasonable.
Yes.
Absolutely. I bathe daily.
And nap.
Um, Angela says, yeah, I'll probably go eat and then sleep, and then we'll tell Arsa about the whole thing in the morning.
I know what Sharp is going to be doing, and I look over at him with a terrible smile.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're going to be doing.
Would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, we can talk about it later.
Oh, really?
Yep. I've gotten a personal letter here, and just I would like to talk about it.
Oh, well, yeah, you should have just said so. Good. All right. Well, come on then. Come with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. You join him to drop off the files with Soriana, and she says she'll try to figure out what the heck is inside them. But after that, you and Sharp head off together toward the barracks. And he says, well, if you're coming to me about a message, then I can only assume that the club has asked you to do so for some reason.
Yeah, basically, I was gonna ask for a sample of your handwriting so I could just, fill out those reports that you aren't filling out.
Reports that I'm not filling out. Wait.
Yeah,
what's that?
apparently you have
Explain.
not. Apparently, you've been not sending out reports to your overseer, or your overseer hasn't been getting them. And I just want to say my connections aren't good. So if I'm able to get my reports over to my overseer, then I don't know. It's just your overseers misses you, and they feel as if it is in my best interest to tell you
I see.
that it's in our best interest to continue to operate smoothly.
Can I tell you a secret, Alvis Taver, my friend?
Sure, absolutely.
Overseer Alcoze is a whiny brat.
Ah,
And she doesn't even read the reports that I sent her. You know why? You know why I know that? Because I put code words in them.
Elvis
But
Driver can't help but laugh.
apparently she notices if her desk doesn't pile up with them. So I suppose I'll have to get back to it.
It's like the presence of a thing counts. I find that interesting.
He then bends over and wraps one of his long arms around your shoulders which is a little awkward to do.
I'm like,
With
this
the
must be incredibly uncomfortable for you, bro.
um, more like in this case, he puts his arm on your shoulder or his hand on your shoulder, and he speaks softly and he says, um, "The other thing, though." And perhaps you'll find this interesting, perhaps you won't. Um, I'll write her letters. You don't need to do that for me.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
I was completely willing to put in the extra, but okay.
No, she'd surely notice that well, if she decided to crack them open, she'd surely notice that the verbiage was different.
I'm really good.
I believe you. No, the thing is, that's not why I'm here. Alice Tablet. Have I ever told you that I had a grandfather?
Grandfather, you say? I mean, most of us do. I just don't
Hmm.
know mine. My not my overseer, but the person who educated me, once joked, which I find it kind of ironic because he mm, anyway. But he said that I might as well have been born from the ground.
Hmm.
He was a Goliath, so I thought it was kind of ironic, but
My grandfather kept books, and when I was a boy, I would read them quite often. Uh, you could say it sparked my interest for the sciences. Um, he had a lot of books about ancient Vesoth, and when I asked him to tell me about Vesoth, he would tell me bits and pieces about the Redshift zone, the things that we knew about this place long before our dear Dex came all the way in here. Those little meager scraps of information. Um, but apparently, at some point, he had uncovered uh, some scribblings about some object in this country.
grants wishes.
I don't think it's one of those. Nothing quite so lofty.
Okay, okay. It's actually it was more of a test to see how tall of a tale that this might be.
It could be. Um, it was it was a vague tale writings. It didn't specify much. It specified high arcane artifact, uh, with power to transcend a world. That's
Like
about what I read when I was a kid.
to use Dimension Gate.
Maybe something similar to that.
Or you mean like attain Kim, whatever your version of enlightenment is, OOC, sir. That was just a deep Elder Scrolls dive I just did there.
Yeah. Well, he says, well, again, vague writings. We couldn't be quite sure. My grandfather had really few ideas about it. Although it did always bother him that he would never be able to find out. Um, now, if what I have seen in this land so far holds true, then if that object is real, it should still be somewhere out here.
Most likely. I wouldn't, in fact, I wouldn't dissuade you from looking for it. All I would say is that it might have different, let's say, consequences to using it than normal magic. Like, in a sense, perhaps Arissa's condition could be an ascension if the infrastructure was greater back then. But
Oh, certainly.
also, for
I'm no fool who would go grabbing artifacts out of the Redshift zone and then using them willy nilly. That's not how I do things, and you know me too well to say such a thing. Um, no, but if I can get my hands on this, then uh, well, putting it simply, my family's debt to the club should be easy enough to wipe out permanently. You see.
ah, I do see. In fact, also, did you know? Speaking of the club, did you know that the club operates in the military?
Yes, they have their slimy tentacles all over our empire. Through you and through me. Even our brigadier seems uh contentedly ignorant or perhaps intentionally disregarding uh the fact that they are sapping like a vampire some of the lifeblood out of our little commission out here in the guise of providing help like me and you. Because you know, as vital as we are, Albus Taver, without that club, we would have been here anyway.
Well, yeah, of course.
Of course.
I I feel. So, if not the club, who else?
Who else what? Who else would hoard artifacts and treasures collected by people and generations of debt for petty things?
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that somebody else would do that?
Well, maybe. Um, I suppose that's not really my concern. Once I am out from under Alcoce's little thumb, I won't care. Um,
All I was saying is in recent light, I have and also from talking to you more often, I have realized certain conditions to which my being operates under because of other things that I really couldn't help. You see, but there are other conditions towards that lifestyle that I've also figured out that I can uh, modulate. For instance, just one of many is speed. So, for instance, in my education, one of the things that was remarked was the speed to which I learned certain things, and don't don't me consider blah don't me wow that languages combining themselves syntax. Sorry, we're speaking common. Um, don't think me a fool. I knew that my teacher had more than one person they were looking at potentially in that vast mind that I was born in. And I knew and know that they have kept certain things from me, right? But ultimately, I also know that I excelled faster than most, if not all of the people who are down there. I haven't seen a face. Have I, sir? OC? Have I recognized any faces from inside the mine? This would change my character if I saw some mine workers.
Here at the commission, no.
Not at the commission, no, outside the mine. Since I got out of it.
If you are already running the assumption that you haven't, then the answer is you haven't.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't seen anybody else outside of that mine. Just me.
Oh yes, I've heard of your mines. I was, I suppose, lucky enough to be born outside of those, although still underfoot of the club.
Absolutely. I'm not going to say you're wrong about the footage. It's just interesting how, in finding the ways to which you can operate under that footage, in which the balance of the wrestle can change, even if you are still ultimately hugging the other person.
Well, my my bath is indeed calling to me. So let me end this conversation with this question for you, or hypothetical even. Um, you and I, out here in the Redshift zone, we're the only two members of the club here. Everything of value that the club gets from the commission is from us.
Yeah.
Now, the club has provided some, uh, as I understand it, political maneuvering behind the scenes to make things a little bit easier for us. But oh, it's not like the club can do anything out here to you or to me. Um, I've enjoyed working under the brigadier personally.
I look forward to continuing to work with her after this all ends.
That's smart. Uh, I'm going to keep looking for my thing. Um, I will send letters to Alcose. As long as I need to make sure I do the right thing and make sure you're not getting harassed by your overseer because apparently they're way too friendly. Um,
Before you go, and it's only just a yes or no question.
sure.
I I I have absolutely realized what you're saying here. I'm not completely naive. Let's not go into that though. It's. Do you think we can do some, or at least I could do some good with the organization?
From within.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Mm. I have a lot of bias.
You absolutely do, but that's why I want your opinion.
Do I think Albus Taber could work his way up the ranks and make things go in a different direction? See, the thing is, when you become an overseer, you get your own agency, and you try to do something the board doesn't like, and they don't care about, ask them for too much that they're not willing to give. They cut you off and just pretend you never existed.
It's not so bad. At least they don't kill you.
Oh no, they never kill you.
Ah, no, no. For a second there, I was operating under the assumptions that like death squads and shit might come after me. But I mean, if you're just cut off and all of your resources are laid low, I feel then that's the inadequacies of the person who was cut off. Sure, a lot of your connections could come from the guild, but if you don't do the extra footwork to make connections outside of the guild, to use the guild as the seed to your own roots, uh, you're what's the term when you're building a house of cards on a very flimsy base?
Not sure I've heard that one.
Building a house of cards on a flimsy base.
It does sound like you have a plan of your own, though, Albus Tower. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, and this was a private conversation. He pats you on the head.
Okay.
Uh,
I have a -1 charisma. I don't know if I can look my way.
oh, it's a firm clap. You know, not a hit. But
Right.
a tap, and then that would mark the end of your conversation.
Absolutely, we go our separate ways.
Um, assuming you don't go run after him at any point. The next morning, as the redshift is beginning to, uh, this morning, the redshift itself is it's in that weird phase where the bubble is like half formed over the town, over the protective barrier. The southwestern half is still clear. The skies are blue. Northeast, you see all purple and red. Uh, in another, 20 minutes, the whole city will be enveloped.
Wait, what?
Just as the
The
redshift.
Yeah, the redshift approaching as usual,
Okay.
passing harmlessly over, covering, uh, nearly smothering, but not quite, your city like a blanket. Uh, this is the time when the brigadier and Angela and Lulu are chatting with um, Arisa at the obelisk. Uh, she is currently sitting just on the very tip top of the obelisk's point, dangling her legs off the side and uh, looking down on everybody like she tends to do. Although it's not really a arrogant looking down in any sense. Uh, More just a halfling sitting on top of the world, really.
Does
And
she
an
seem
old lady
distraught?
looking out over her city. Well, it doesn't sound like they've gotten to the good part yet.
Mm.
Um, so if you do attend the conversation, the good part starts with Angela says um we went to this facility and it all came to life when we broke in, and um there was a big fight. She describes what happens with the golems, and she says, during the fight we ended up getting into the room where this giant red and gold crystal was, and then one of the golems chased us in there and uh punched the thing clean into 1,000 pieces. Uh, Lulu says it was kind of aiming for me. Um, she says once that happened, the ghost uh disappeared and the crystal went dark. And Arsa says, "Well, that would have been one of the proxies." Yeah. Um, she looks disappointed. Um, and she says, but um, but she wouldn't talk to you. What, like, what did she say? And Angela says, "Well, when we walked in and the golems all activated, she was saying something about doing a good day's work or something, and then I guess she noticed us and she started calling us intruders and told us to get out, and before we knew it, we were under attack." Um, Arthur says, "Well, well, don't feel too bad about it. Um, it's disappointing that we couldn't get in touch with another proxy. I would have liked to see if we still had any contact with the secretary. But if she was that unreasonable, then it sounds like she was probably sitting on her old protocols and unlike me, the proxies aren't really people the way you'd think of them normally. They're more like those golems you dealt with. Um, I'm kind of a way too special case that doesn't even really make sense if I think about it too hard, which is why I don't. But uh, the proxies are just following what they were designed to do. So it's a shame she's broken. Um, maybe that's for the best if she was stuck. Tent says, "How many more of these did you say there were again?" Um, all right, so it says, well, I didn't actually know there was one at Palladay. So either my memories are still not fully intact, or that one got installed very shortly before the Redshift started. Uh, but as for the rest, besides the secretary at Vess, there was I think there was one down on the southern coastline and like south of the bay, and one at a town near All Saints. Uh, my memory is foggier than I thought. I'm sure there must be one or two more, but I can't remember for the life of me. Or uh, afterlife.
It'll come to you in time. You don't have to try too hard.
Hopefully. I don't like missing memories. I feel like it. Ugh. Like,
Do
what if
you
I'm
know?
not really a real ghost?
How do you define real? No,
Oh,
never
it's
mind. Let's not go there.
yeah,
Ah,
no, it's too far.
Okay.
What were you going to say? Oh, the Stabber.
I was gonna inquire if they knew anything about like sunspark technology or the implementation of gold in the transference of electrical power.
Well, I know gold is conductive.
I would think Smithy would be able to tell you quite a lot about that.
I found some really advanced stuff, and I was going to bring it to Smitty too, but this conversation was going to happen early enough in the day, and I wanted to ask her about it.
I think I've heard of Sunspark before. That's the isn't that something they have over in Silver Peak?
Where?
Brigadier says, yeah, that's what I've heard. Uh, off to the west. Supposedly they have a city that runs on the stuff.
Is it called
I was just
Silver Peak because the peak of the mountain is covered with solar panels?
Uh, no, actually, I believe it's called Silver Peak because it's full of mithril.
Oh, all right.
now I was going to ask how or if Barissa knew how they got power.
They?
Yeah, like how does their magic work run?
They who? Sorry.
Barissa.
Oh,
Veshin
you mean
technology.
like her right now?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I was wondering what kind of. Yeah, I know fashion technology, but I was wondering if it's similar or.
I would say the technology that we used to um, support the proxies is not all that different from the technology you're using to support your obelisk network. Um, less to do with anchoring reality, and more to do with tapping into points of power um, that can generate enough natural energy, from the earth uh, and the things inside it
I understand. This is
to
a.
make these mechanisms work. So, yeah, in a certain sense, I'm still back in that tower in the forest, um, and I'm being powered by the energies of that forest as I and the proxy who used to work for me have been for centuries and centuries. Um, Now that I am connected to your obelisk network, I'm able to take advantage of that power. And of course, you are a little bit battery powered here, but these are details.
I understand. No, I was wondering for personal projects and stuff. It seems this might be a dead end, though. Thank you for sharing, though. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, well, I don't mind at all. Well, yeah, if you do find another proxy, try not to break her, unless you really need to. I suppose if, well, it was always up for debate whether they could feel pain. Um, Probably not physical, but perhaps emotional. Uh, Perhaps it would be best to put them down if they are all confused to the point of hostility. Um, I know you had to put down my old body too. Uh, so, same thing, right? Uh, but if you do find any more and you can actually talk to them, I would love to talk to another one. And again, like I said, maybe one of them is still connected to the secretary.
Do you know if there are any parts or things that might be salvageable back at the building that might benefit you if we got them, and you and uh, Decus were to work with it?
I honestly don't know more than the um, slightly above layman's understanding of how the proxies are actually built. Um, uh, she was installed there long before I was ever working there, of course. But from my understanding, it's a very complex process to grow the. Um, well, you can think of the red crystals sort of like their brain, right? Much
Okay,
like
okay.
you have inside you.
Yeah.
My brain is currently inside that crystal in the tower, you might say. Um, or I suppose the impulses that used to run through my brain. However you want to call it. Soul stuff. Um, with that broken, it would be very difficult to. It would well, not to get gruesome, but it would be like splitting your brain into a million pieces and then trying to put it back together. You probably wouldn't get it right. Um, so I doubt it. If she's broken, she's broken. You'd probably have to grow a whole new crystal, and uh, unfortunately, with my homeland gone, I'm not sure if there's anybody around who still knows how to do that.
I hear you. It is unfortunate.
Maybe they've got a manual somewhere in that tower, though. Maybe. Well, actually, if the secretary is still around, she should be able to just tell you. Because she built the damn system.
Yeah, the next question is, how to make your system more advanced.
I don't need advanced. This is plenty for me. I get to move around and talk to everybody in the commission, and then, once you're done, then we're done. I don't need to stick around forever. Please.
I hear you.
I'm here to help. As much help as a blabbering old lady can be, anyway. Oh no, Naya's got problems going on. I see. I just noticed the AFK message. Um, but yeah, so they chat a bit more about the circumstances and the facility that they found with Arisa, and sort of give her the play by play of the adventure. Um, but at this point, it's really you all have plenty of time to pass over the next few days as the Redshift uh, gloms over you very slowly and covers the town and then continues its march onward south and west and every other direction.
You know,
Um,
a thought comes to mind.
mhm.
If Dex switched one of his cantrips to mending over this break, he could actually get all the parts for the crystal back together.
Uh, is cantrip switching a thing that happens?
Yeah, that was one of those Tasha's cauldron of everything things that every long rest a wizard can change one cantrip.
Oh, wow. I either did not read or completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, it was in the things you sent me. Should be pinned in the channel. Yeah, cantrip formulas is a third level feature.
Ah, right. Okay, got it.
So hypothetically, he could reassemble. Whether the brain will return to some functionality or not, I don't know. And then if it does, you still have to defeat the corrupted body of the proxy to kind of restore the brain in the crystal to normal.
Arthur says, yeah, well, it would be rather like I said, trying to assemble your own brain after it got cracked open.
Well, the magic does all the work. It's worth a shot.
Yeah. Well, listen, you want to have a team try to go fetch that crystal, or we could,
I think you
maybe
would.
Lulu and Sharp, you guys could go back there and try to put it back together.
Well, you'd want to try to do it in place, but you would need somebody who's a powerful enough spellcaster to get the level of mending that you need.
Yeah.
I would still have to manually reassemble it, but him, just so long as they're all within a 5-foot square, 5-foot cube, I should say, he can pretty well fully reassemble it.
Sorry.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah. I wish they'd given us more notice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I got up as soon as I got the email. I saw it, and I went in to run some water into the bathtub, just to be able to, flush. And the water was already shut off.
Oh no.
Nice.
So I got enough for one jug. So, oh well. Shit happens.
What, you just got your water turned off?
Yeah, I just got an email saying emergency for my building, water shut off due to a burst pipe.
Oh,
It's been really, really, really cold here for the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I guess I've heard.
Today it was actually over 20. So that's the first time in 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah,
But
almost a week. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that it got a little bit warmer and suddenly something broke.
Damn.
Oh well. All right. So sorry.
No worries. So, we were talking about sending Dex on yet another mission.
Okay.
So Brigadier says, okay, well, I have another thing to pass along to Dex. Thank you very much. He's going to be a busy man for a couple of weeks.
I mean, this is his project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he loves this stuff.
I know. I say that in jest, too. I'm not. Without Dex.
He loves this stuff. He does not love camping, as I am to understand.
I can relate to that.
He wanted to put up an expedition, but he doesn't like camping.
Well, I can relate to that
how much he
personally.
complained until we got the first few houses built.
Oh, wow. I would have figured that a wizard like him would have prepared insta houses. If he really didn't like camping that much.
Yeah, he can't cast Magnificent Mansion.
I don't think that's on his list, no. He's got
He's just got tiny hut.
No, see, that's the thing. He's a city wizard, so he doesn't need Magnificent Mansion.
I mean, does anyone need Magnificent Mansion?
So, wait, you're telling me that he doesn't have a tower that he can just bring with him? How important is he?
No, he's got a tower at the academy. Or
Yeah,
he doesn't need
where
a
is it?
one.
Right, a stationary tower?
Yeah, it's
God.
at the academy. I mean, this isn't Trove. You don't just replant your house everywhere.
Oh, but that was a really fun feature.
It was. It
Yeah,
definitely was.
I don't think Dex had left the city in about 10 years before this whole business started.
Wowee. Big city.
Pretty
And
funny.
never even thought about it. This is his camping adventure.
I mean,
I mean,
it's
if you're
bad enough sleeping on a cot.
right, I was gonna say if you're gonna do it though, might as well have the Empire's backing, right?
I mean, beds are great, but they like ruin your guys' backs.
No, they might ruin yours, but beds are pretty good.
Yeah, after sleeping in the meadow, that's always
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise, find a good chair. It's definitely better than flat ground.
Oh no, chairs are good too. I can sleep anywhere.
There was once this story about a barbarian who had been actually a reincarnated librarian, as a librarian barbarian, who found a magic chair that was just always in perfect shape, super comfy chair. It became his throne. It was great.
I could understand that.
Sounds cool. It's kind
For
of like
those
my
of us
barrel.
that waddle through life, I can understand that.
It was actually a children's play. It was the mostly playing on the but he's a librarian, but he's a barbarian.
The librarian barbarian.
Exactly.
I thought there was a Saturday Night Live skit that was Conan the Librarian.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure there was. Cool. Well, I think we've kind of covered a lot of stuff. Was there anything else?
I think that might have been just about all the business. Yeah, so if we wanna scoot forward a couple days and get to the Redshift waning, we can certainly do that.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I have a sick acid right now.
A
I
what?
think the slime. It's acidic. Is it not?
Oh, that was the one.
This can be
Is the acid able to dissolve the fire glands into crystals that
Yeah.
we can use for stuff?
Yeah.
yes. It will take about a week to crystallize, as it were.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic.
Then during these 5 days, I'm assuming Nimbus, you'll help me out. But we set this up like giddy science students.
Oh, I figured Sariana was going to be the one doing this.
You may get in Soriana's way if you wish. You will be in her way.
Well, I'll watch and I'll be there in spirit.
Okay. But yeah, in the meantime,
I was going to
let's
say
put
you
you
could reach
all-
things off the shelves, but not really.
Yes, Soriana and I understand our troubles.
yeah.
Mage hand.
Let's
I do want to kind of see how the whole acid thing like goes, how she's gonna do it. That'd be neat. So I'll
just
try
one
to help
second.
her during the
Make sure I have
downtime.
everything in order here.
I'm going to step away for like a minute. I'll be back.
Actually, this would be a great time if anybody wants to go get some water or anything.
Yes.
Sorry, Naya, about your water.
Time to get
Um,
chicken.
That was kind of a groaner, sir.
Bitchin'
yeah,
chicken.
But if anybody needs anything, then now is a great time. And then in
Okay,
about
so 5-minute break.
5 minutes, yeah, we'll be
All right.
we'll be good.
All right, I'm ready whenever anybody else is ready.
Nice.
All right, I'm back.
Hello, back. I'm front.
How convenient.
Now all I need is a top and a bottom, maybe a strange charm. We'll be a quirky kind of person.
Yeah, indeed. A quirky bunch. Oh man, my new throttle arrived today.
How is it?
I haven't used it yet. I put it together, but it's just sitting on my desk right now.
Joystick.
But I'm
Calling,
like,
calling
yeah.
to you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an omni throttle. It's a joystick, but the stick is turned at a like 45-degree angle, so that twisting is like up and down instead of left and right. If that makes sense.
Yep.
No, I
Okay.
get it.
Like the way you shift a car. Okay.
Or like a motorcycle, more like.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never driven one of those, so.
But yeah,
It's
but I'm
ergonomic.
I'm replacing my throttle so that I have a 6 degree of freedom throttle for Star Citizen.
Okay.
So now I can set thrust.
Yeah, I remember
direction.
why you
Yeah.
were ordering it.
Yeah, it showed up early, so I was like, "Oh no!" I mean, yes, that's awesome, but also I did not schedule any Star Citizen time today, so now it's just going to taunt me all day.
It's just sitting there going, "Hello, hello, nana nana boo boo."
Exactly.
I'm back.
Well,
Also, these wings are fucking hot.
Damn.
Like spicy hot.
Yeah, like ridiculously spicy. I got Korean wings, and ooh, the hot is hot.
nice.
I found a new spicy chicken restaurant the other day. It's a very good thing to find.
Indeed.
Chicken is cheap and spice is life, so
There's a place near here that does all of their flavors are India inspired. Like, so they're, all their hots and stuff. They're all different kinds of curries and flavors that are from the continent. In fact, they have one that's like, I don't remember the name of it, but it's got a number for a name, and I went and looked it up, and it turns out it's like one of the most popular street foods is this number spice.
Gotcha.
And so I've ordered it a few times, and Oren doesn't like it, so I don't get it that often. But man, like, so their hella hot is like this, like what is it, masala?
I don't know what it is, but it's fucking great.
Any
It is.
masala I've ever had is not that hot.
No, they're usually kind of creamy and mellow, but this one is
Right.
this is like that only turned into a hot wing sauce.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's a hot joystick. I like that.
That's what she said.
I see what you mean though by more like a motorcycle.
Oh, fun. You'll have a good time with that.
She also said that.
That's also what she said.
Shut up, you guys.
But
It's
I said
such
it
a
the
guy
first time,
thing,
I
I
had to pass
swear.
it off.
Do I have to be the token female going, "Oh, shut up"?
You are our token female.
Shush. Shush. I know it's Friday night, and you hear the shush all fucking week, but shush.
Actually, I kind of figure he's just sitting in a room like an idiocracy, and it's just like silence. Someone says, "Say something smart." Except I know it's not like that. It's at a much higher level of IQ because they're all professionals and stuff. But that same level of energy of that scene is more what I
Right.
expect.
No, actually, do you mean where I'm working?
Yeah, write a story, bro.
Oh no, yeah, no, we're actually pretty high energy about what's going on. There's a lot of passion happening.
Yeah, no, it's
It looks like a lot of people are really psyched and really excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I already have imposed myself into passionate conversations on various things because I'm sitting at my desk reading and onboarding, and then someone's talking about some cool topic 2 feet from me, and they're on my team, and I go, I have an opinion on that. You know, just can't help it, and you know. Anyway.
And they're damn sexy wood elves.
Oh,
those
dude,
are the dark elves.
they're not. No, what they showed today in the demo, those are hot
Yes.
and way cooler than dark elves, I think personally.
Yeah, I agree.
If these are elves, I want to see a picture so I can judge whether they are elves or humans wearing cosplay ears. Thank you.
Hold up a sec.
Okay.
They're all humans playing cosplayers.
Anyway, we can play. So if everybody's back, you are on the world map, and the location in question is a little ways north, a couple days hike. Most likely, you think best way to get there is probably taking the easily traversable foothills and then striking out into the desert when you sort of get near enough to the location.
So we're going northeast.
The subject of your search is north, and then by all reports, it should be somewhere around here.
Okay.
So that's maybe a 2.5 day trip for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
There, the better circle.
Sure, like that.
All right. So do you want us to roll initiative then?
I don't think we need to do that tonight, actually.
Okie dokie.
Oh, I've been added. I mean that's a pretty cool looking like tiefling.
That's so funny. I also made a tiefling reference.
I mean, yeah.
Right? And apparently the horns will always be there, but they will be
You can modify them.
yeah, you can be modified,
They
right?
might bloom.
Right. You could have them. They could even bloom. That's right.
Oh,
But you can have them be.
so funny that you guys both latched onto you can make them bloom because somebody cornered Steven on that in the fucking design pit at about 5:00 this evening.
Shush, we're live.
Now we gotta fucking put flowers on them. You said we gotta make them bloom now.
We
What
are live. Hopefully
about?
that's okay.
I didn't jump in, but I was thinking, no, dude, you make it a particle system because that way they can go from bud to flower to petals that fall off and then replay like all day long.
I mean, they said it was going to work
I'm
like
sure
the.
they looked at you. You got the squinty eye, didn't you?
I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking it. He was far enough away from me. See, the problem is where my desk is because I'm new, is like kind of over by the door and not right in the middle of the design pit, but within earshot of the entire design pit. So, I'm not like right there able to just speak up. So had I been right there where he was, I would have said it. But I was far enough away that I would have been yelling across the room, and I didn't want to do it.
Okay, I'm taking control of this table. We are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
All right.
Indeed.
Yeah, you guys are able to supply up, restock, get everything together, and set out in the morning. It is the 9th of Brachus. So still kind of getting our way out of winter, in fact, and the weird desert weather is persisting. But at least you don't have to deal as much with sweltering heat in the sands. So I guess it's up to you guys if you want to go directly through the sands, which is difficult, or take the slightly longer route and kind of just go on the borders and then strike out when the opportunity arises.
Have we talked to our friend in Orbis about potential land mounts for sand? I can't remember her name.
Maisie?
Maisie, she's very good at
There was some discussion last week or maybe the week before about some Kotoran goats, which are
yes,
pretty
I remember that.
big and hardy and might be able to serve the role of mount in the desert. They do live in the desert normally, so.
Okay. Any word on that?
There has been an order put in. Yes.
Okay.
It'll be a little while before the commission can actually see some goats all the way out here.
Okay. Well, Naya is not impeded by rough terrain, which sand can be. So I don't know about anybody else though. So
Isn't that your like brand new thing that you just got?
well, it's not new. It's just brand new because I realized it.
Oh. Okay. But yeah,
Yes.
in the case of full party travel, it will be whoever is the most impeded will impede the whole rest of the party
Right.
technically. So
I'm
but
so
yeah,
impeded.
It's just
I
not
ride
going to
on
be me
Montmartre
anymore.
horse.
without some kind of traversal mechanism, it is going to be difficult to get over the sands very easily. So thus far, you have kind of stuck to the foothills as we've done to the south here and there. And the scouts who went up north will tell you they did much the same thing up here, and most of the time it's pretty easy hiking.
I like mountains, but I mean, if we see
We have
something
horses.
if we see
Yeah.
something in the desert, it might be cool to go to it.
Yeah.
I suppose then we would want to go out to this spot here. Oh, let me switch. We'd want to go to here and maybe even to here and go up from there. Because if it's going to take us a day to get to here, then we can scout the nearby area by bird and kind of open up the hexes in the nearby area. Then make our way there the second day. And it'll be nice and comfortable because I'll just make ice packs for everyone.
You just reminded me of something I wanted to ask, sir.
Yeah, what's up?
With your bird, I was wondering if during our downtime, if Nimbus could help me train my seagull for scouting.
You do have a hatched seagull, don't you?
I do have a hatched seagull. Been keeping really good care of it.
Do you speak seagull?
No, but I can handle a bird.
Yeah, bird
Right, but-
handling is the thing.
But if it goes to scouts, how does it tell you what it saw?
Interesting.
Speak with
Good
animals.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do you have speak with animal? Like, can you speak with your like? You
No,
say,
no,
Jonathan
no,
Livingston,
that's-
what do you see?
That's why he's
No.
asking for my help, because I can.
Yeah.
Oh. Will you name him Jonathan Livingston?
No, I'm gonna name him Gully.
Gully, really?
It's a joke.
That borders on offensive, but isn't.
At least
What?
name him Fern.
What?
No, that's fine.
What?
I said that borders on offensive, but is fine because it's not.
No, Gully like Eagly.
Yeah, I get
Gully.
it.
No, I know why. God damn, these are hot.
Anyway, yes, training animals is possible.
Well, I would like to train my seagull for at least 5 days. I don't know. Yeah, if it would be like actual field worthy, but there's
It
another
is
factor.
it is a baby seagull right now, so it will be some time before it grows up. But you can spend downtime attempting to train this, like domesticate this seagull.
This seagull will be my babe. Yes, exactly. I love it so much, and I will hug it, and I'll squeeze it, and I'll call it George.
Yeah. Loud
Now is
voices in
that
the
the path
hallway.
that we're going to take through the desert?
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of doing the going to here and then going to there.
All right.
I like the smell of adventure.
So go ahead and take your first day forward. And then yeah, so you get to move those 4 hexes. It is difficult terrain. Um, and then using scouting, well, you'd get to see a whole lot more desert.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of desert.
Are those cactuses? Cacti?
No,
You do manage to, yes, you do manage to end your day in a area that is kind of flat, solid sand, pockmarked with cacti here and there.
Drink the cactus juice.
That's usually not good for you. You know that much.
But it could also be hallucinogenic.
but we're not here to trip out.
But I mean, we're camping for the night.
You want to go to the spirit realm?
I want to go to the spirit realm.
Did you see the size of that chicken?
Well, it's up to you.
What does that say about what I do with the cactus?
Well, you can certainly. I mean, I wouldn't have asked for a check for you to, chop off a bit of cactus and try to taste it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm examining the cactus. What, like, do
ah.
I know anything about the cactus? I'll cut it, of course, to see if it does anything. I'll dab a bit on my tongue, I suppose.
Does
But
your nature produce any different stats than that survival roll?
I would get a +2,
+2 compared to so
+0.
it would turn into a 20.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it would have been nature. Um you don't recognize a specific like species of cactus. Maybe it's some Veshan or Redshifted brand. But it does resemble the sort of type of cactus that is not quite toxic, but uh probably does the whole, makes your tongue numb and probably gives you a pretty bad stomach ache if you drink it.
But those are also the kinds of cactuses that you trip out on.
There's potential for that.
Alvis Taver is going to spend the rest of the night mulling over whether or not he should eat a cactus.
Okay. Will he decide in the morning?
He'll take some cactus with him.
Okay. That's easy
And
enough to, chop up a little bit and wrap it up.
yeah, exactly. He'll store one in the fucking scroll case from long ago. That is. Wait, why do I still have that actually in my inventory? I did I send that back?
I thought you did.
I thought well, I remember myself as doing so, so I should remove that from my inventory.
Yeah, I agree that you did do that.
Okay, no, I did that. Never mind. I'm gonna just store them, and wish I had the capability of storing one fresh.
You could just wrap it up in the wax paper that you had your rations in, right?
Well, absolutely, but I mean that doesn't make it last for like fresh forever. Like, what if the
Yeah.
hallucinogenic properties are only capable when it's like fresh?
I guess you'll have to see.
Damn it.
How will you take the next leg of your trip?
Somebody else is going to have to decide. Alvis
Stand
Taver is thinking.
around. No, aren't we going here?
Yeah.
That was where you were roughly pointed, and Albus Tapper's good enough at keeping directions that you guys feel as though you're probably safely on track.
Yeah, he's not that distracted.
Do we need to roll?
Not right now. You're close enough to the mountains that you can see them on your side, and it is a clear day, so the sun is in view. So it's easy to stay on course, more or less.
Be wary of mirages.
Well, assuming you do go north, may I assume you go north?
I assume that's the plan.
That was the plan.
Yep.
Okay.
I want to go south.
Too late.
See ya.
Damn it.
You as though a mirage, indeed. You spot in the distance, sort of in a basin, in the desert sand. There is a what you might normally describe as a woods, and it is indeed apparently comprised entirely of uh, pink trees.
Like
kind of
pink
pink are we
bark,
talking about?
pink leaves, pink branches, pink.
What
Pink
kind
everything?
of what kind of pink are we talking about? Are we talking about some weak ash lightest red, or are we talking about like baboon's backside pink?
Hot pink.
Hot pink. We're talking about bubble gum,
Oh.
smack you in the face pink.
Bubblegum pink. Yes, bubblegum pink trees, reaching up and twisting into the sky.
Leg warmers pink.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
This area is about from here. You would say it's probably like a 1 mile radius area in this little basin. Um, you could get closer and investigate if you wished.
Yeah, I cover my face and stuff with like my bandana. Trusty bandana.
Well, I mean, does it look like they're like issuing spores or anything?
It's fucking pink, man. I don't care if it's issues.
Everything. I mean, it's even in the mist. So something. It may not be spores, but it's something like spores.
You do see bits and wisps of what might be fog, but it looks it looks fairly clear today.
How
pull up
sharp?
my hood.
How sharp is
This-
the edge of this area? Is it like 1 foot is bright pink and 1 foot later is completely normal?
The tree line sort of it seems to taper fairly naturally. It there's one here, one there, and then it gets denser as you go in. Hard to make out really any grand details from too far away though.
Does anybody have
You're sort of looking down at it from a crest.
detect magic, detect
Yeah.
poison, disease prepared?
I can detect
You do
magic.
have to be very close for that.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking at.
Yes.
We want to have that prepared because I don't.
I know a way we can figure out whether or not this is good or bad for us to breathe.
Canary?
I have a small caged canary.
Right, and you obviously your canary will pass away much quicker than you. So
Exactly.
that's the thing to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, it's easily half your size, so.
Yep. So I tell everybody
That's
that
amazing.
I tell everybody that we're safe.
I guess the one thing I'd want to test is grabbing something normal colored and throwing it into the pink area to see if it turns pink or retains its color.
That's a good one.
So you have approached the woods then.
Yeah.
We could have the Badath just drop it in, like sky drop it, see if it turns pink.
Okay.
So we don't have to get close.
So as you approach the woods, you see that these trees don't have leaves. They are knobbly and twisty. Um, and the many branches and limbs reach up and twist around each other. You are able to find a rock and toss it amidst the pink trees, and nothing special happens to the rock.
Does the rock change color when it gets amongst the pink? Does it appear to change color?
No,
So the same gray or whatever color it was when it started looks the same once it gets in there?
yeah.
Yeah, kind of a stone color.
Okay.
Now, do you all have any interest in entering this woods?
Oh, we long rested, right?
You long rested at camp, yes.
Oh,
let me click the button.
Yeah, my apologies for not reminding everyone.
I assume my divine senses were clear.
Let's see. Celestial fiend or undead? Yes, you're all clear.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just paranoid, but I feel like I would be very cautious as I approach those trees, fully
yeah, me
expecting them
too.
to come to life and attack me or something terrible.
Think of the brand new resource that we could now exploit here. If
Oh
you
yeah, I mean
figure out
that
how
said,
the trees grow. Like
right. I
Oh,
do
you
want to
the pink
look at
houses?
these trees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see what they're all about. I just feel like it's gonna be one of those days where something tries to eat my face.
like redwood.
Naya, you don't
Redwood
have
is
the ability to
popular.
speak to them, do you?
Imagine pinkwood.
To what?
You don't have the ability to speak to plants, do you?
Yeah, can you speak to
Yeah, I
trees?
do actually. Let me see if I've
Talk,
got
talk
it
to these
prepared.
pink guys. Tell them what they're like. Tell us what. Yeah, are they weird?
I mean, they're trees, so yes.
Dude, Montlarin, like you're in the business of wood.
I'm sorry, I didn't prepare it.
Oh no.
Oh,
But the answer is yes, I could if I had prepared it.
Well,
That's my bad for not paying attention. I mean, yeah.
it's all right.
trees are not very talkative most of the time anyway, even with magic.
I mean,
Well,
these ones might be rocking out and just like
I mean,
doing punk rock screams.
I did actually hear this report from Angela, and then we heard it again, although I'm not supposed to have heard it again. So, if I had been paying attention, I would have prepared that. So that's my fault. It's my bad.
Yeah, no worries.
Sir, unless you can let me switch out Wall of Water for Speak with Plants,
if
pretend like I prepared it a long time ago.
well, yeah, we did kind of accidentally skip the long rest. Yeah, if you knew that you were coming to a forest, then sure.
Sweet. Okay, just give me a minute.
So yeah,
All right. So here is the spell.
All right. Let's see. Limited sentience. Events in the past day cause difficult terrain. They can move branches, plant creatures. Okay. You cast the spell, and it apparently does not work. Naya, can you go ahead and roll nature with advantage?
Sure. I gotta
Druid who
find
can't
advantage
talk
again.
to
Shit.
trees. But no, seriously, Montlarin, could you like imagine like what elves might pay for to have like pink trees?
Sorry to interrupt, but Naya, the the smooth but like smooth in parts but knobbly in others surface, the oddly twisted shape of the branches, um, the pink coloring and flecked with yellow and bits that seem to be little individual flecks of bark on their own. Um, Naya, it occurs to you that the sort of thing you're looking at sort of looks more like branching pieces of coral than like trees, and you know that coral is not plants.
No, that's an animal. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Coral is indeed a very, very tiny animal.
Kill it. Kill it with fire. No, don't.
I do have
doesn't mean
speak with
anything.
animals prepared.
Cool.
We can,
You give that a shot.
So we can give that a shot, but I also want to say that Montlarin has twice now mentioned mimics.
oh, he's just paranoid.
Well, he's
Forest of
also
mimics.
been correct. The last 2 times he said it was mimics, so I don't want to ignore that because he's
No, I was kidding.
he's actually 2 for 2 on that. So
It's always mimics with him.
if it's mimics, besides run like hell, what else do we do?
Fire.
Destroy
Yeah,
them.
kill them with fire.
Okay, is that about it?
I mean,
Kill them
to
with
be fair,
lightning.
yeah, kill them with lightning. I mean, to be fair, if they're rooted in place, even just kill them isn't necessarily required. We could just walk away.
Nah, man, this much
No,
resource
but we have to go back and give a report because we already have another team that saw this.
and bring back at least one of these logs as a resource to see what we can do with it.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
it's a mimic, then it's not really a log, right?
is one of us gonna speak with animals?
All right, yeah.
Because the other possibility is if it really is coral, it could also all be dead. In which case, we're basically looking at sculpture. You know.
Okay. I've hit this twice. Are we having lag?
Oh, we are. Naya,
Oh,
have you
wait,
ever?
maybe?
Oh, you have to decide how to cast it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, ritual.
Nice.
There we go.
Okay, assuming everybody's sitting around for 10 minutes, which I assume
Yeah.
is fine. Naya, have you ever tried to talk to Coral before?
No, but in some ways it can't be worse than trying to talk to birds. Birds are
Well-
very chattery and jittery, and Coral might be kind of like stoned. I don't know. Have you tried to have an intelligent conversation with somebody who's stoned? Dave's not here, man.
I just
I'm
so-
Dave.
Yeah,
so
Dave's not
Naya-
here, man.
Naya, 100%
I have
confirming you've never
I've just dated
never done it
myself. I've never talked to Coral before or tried.
Okay. Imagine a cafeteria. There are voices. Removing any one voice from the horde is beyond impossible. It occurs to you that a piece of coral is hundreds and hundreds of tiny, tiny creatures.
Right, but it'd be like talking to any kind of creature with a hive mind, right? She has talked to bees, she has talked to spiders, where they're part of a kind of more of a hive mind.
Well,
So how is coral different from, say, bee?
Well, like coral doesn't cooperate consciously, I guess is the best way to put it, right? Any individual coral just kind of goes about its day, and it just happens
indeed.
that its day helps to contribute to the rest of the colony.
So this is
Yeah,
a
but bees are the
very
same way in some way because they're totally working off of instinct rather than.
Bees are aware that they're part of a colony, is what I'm saying. Coral isn't.
Okay.
This is a very, very large piece of coral too. It's tree sized. So the cacophony is massive, and just a million miniature voices.
Yeah, I was also going to say order of magnitude between a beehive and a colony.
All saying something. Naya, it is very, very difficult for you to even begin to make out any kind of communication system here. You could try talking to it. But yeah, it's pretty much gonna be like everyone at a concert all talking at once. And you get the feeling that even if you successfully asked them a question, you'd get a lot of answers. A
That's
million
fine.
answers.
Naya, upon encountering the reality of coral mind, Naya goes ahead and sits and enters into druid meditation, which is a vast space big enough to accommodate all the voices and still have some space to let it all kind of parse itself out. You just need enough space to not let it overwhelm your mind. So
Okay.
she sits down and goes into druid meditation and produces that space.
Can you make an insight check then?
Sure. I'm not
With
sure
disadvantage.
insight is the right effect, though.
Insight with disadvantage, please.
Are there any lone trees? Like, how uniform is this whole?
Why
Grove?
disadvantage? Oh, why?
Because this is difficult.
Fuck
Wow.
that.
Nice.
I have 5 points in insight.
You are able to sort of pull out a collective impulse of welcoming. Uh, Come visit, for example. Welcome traveler, and that sort of thing.
So I would have a question at that point. Is it one traveler or the group that it's being perceived?
Travelers.
Okay.
Welcome traveler or travelers. Yeah. Uh, you also can sort of tell just by the way this information is being provided that these creatures are basest intelligence.
Basest?
Like,
Basest?
yeah, like
Basest. Yeah.
you
Based.
imagine if Naya knew what a amoeba was, this must be close to that. You know, having a full conversation with a bee can be kind of difficult sometimes. Um, this is at a
That would be
level
impossible with this, right?
maybe a tenth that. Um, you can try, but it might be more like you trying to guide a.
I think I would just toss one question in there.
Okay.
One word, question.
What's the question?
That's the question.
Oh,
Hungry?
Oh, wait, sorry. Hungry? Is that what you said?
That is the question, and I would just telepathically speak that to the hive mind of coral.
Okay. Um, if you ask
Just
hungry,
hungry as a question.
you receive information that is simultaneously 1,000,000. Uh, yep, yeah, a little bit, kinda.
Starved.
Nope, not
Okay.
really. I'm okay.
Okay.
Kinda could go for something. A little bit. Haven't eaten in a few days. Nah, I ate yesterday.
Okay.
It's effectively white noise static at a certain point.
Right, but she's got enough space to be able to discern if there's a pattern or the basic gist of what's being communicated. Um, does I don't remember. How long does this thing last? Let me read this. 10,
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Do you want to wait that 10 minutes before or after I find a tree to chop down?
Well, what I'm looking at is um so in the middle of her trance, Naya steps out and basically relays to the rest of the group what she's encountered and tells them that she thinks it is probably not too wise to actually deal with them because some of them are actually pretty hungry. Some are not. But the loudest voices are the hungriest. And so while we could go ahead and
Not the
um,
loudest. You would say the cacophony is quite divided.
quite what?
Divided.
Yeah, okay. So I basically pass that along and ask the rest of the group, what are they thinking? She's of a mind that we don't want to just wander in there um, heedlessly.
Oh yeah, I don't want to water into the grove. That's why I would first look for one that's you know on the outskirts or looks like it's in the the farthest away of the grove. Just so we can distance ourselves a little bit, but also this is just above ground coral. Then I know of things that coral can be used for, and coral is supposedly very light once it dries, and we can wait another night
Sure, but
after we chop one
what I'm
down.
looking at is I'm guessing that the coral spores are what's producing the mist. There's no, I mean, normally coral would live in water. And the water would, on the tide, carry the spores out, let them settle, and they would create and grow other colonies. This one has grown on land. I'm guessing it has been significantly redshifted. It
Damn.
has no food source except what it can gather from the earth or from the air. And so I'm suggesting we do not go anywhere near that pink mist. We do not wander into um, the forest unless we're prepared. And um, if we get any of the mist on us, that could be problematic in terms of if our skin is a source for this, not just of food, but of new ground, that could be a problem.
Oh yeah, no,
So
I
you
get that.
seriously do not want to get that pink shit on you.
No, I get that. Or we don't know that, but I
No,
get
but
that.
that would be what
But
I say. I
we're
can also tell them that the coral has invited us to come forward and that we're welcome, which totally raises my
oh
hackles.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's pretty suspicious. We're also 30 feet away from them if we cast plant with or speak with plants. So
Right,
we're
which
already
we're
kind
really
of
close,
close.
which means we've got to be ready to bail.
Which is like I'm saying, find an outlier, a literal outlier in this case, and chop it down.
Well, I don't have any reason whatsoever to argue with you. I'm already very suspicious of this. And because it's a hive mind, I can't talk to just one.
Is there any indication of variable health between these various tree structures?
Ooh, that's a good
Uh,
one too. I'm looking for an outlier, but that's
Some
also a good question.
of the none of them seem wilted in any way, you would say. You do notice that there's something that resembles bushes and shrubbery around the woods that appear to be more like thinner filaments of coral. Um, Again, yellow and pink bushes and such.
But they're still made of the same stuff.
The same stuff, yeah.
Okay.
And then between them are the thin corals and then the slightly fatter, thicker corals, and then every so often you'll see like one big thick coral tree um, between a cluster of a few of them. Similar to how you'd see young trees and old trees in an old forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Alvis, my only concern is if they're all connected, say, and not actually separate entities, uh, chopping down one may be the same as attacking them all.
Right, like a colony.
Yeah,
Right.
like chopping down an aspen.
Right.
Yes, except that you'd get a colony response, which means we might also suddenly get pink misted
So,
as a defense, you know?
yeah, I mean, I have a small moral qualm about just killing them to kill them in the first place, but if we really are going to do this, we should probably be prepared for the worst.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
On both accounts. But if it makes you feel better, I'm not doing this just for the sheer barbarism of it. If I was doing that, it would be more fun than the grueling task of chopping down a tree and trying to make a good cut so that we can have samples to bring back to the expedition. If I was doing this for fun, I would want to like chop it down using something interesting, like
Coral doesn't
hand.
coral doesn't yield wood though. It's like stone.
Yeah, but entire cities have been built with
Yeah,
harvested
it's
coral.
workable. Yeah.
It's hella workable. And
Oh,
this
we
is
just
pink.
have we got a way to carry it? Because until it dries out, it's heavy.
You can wait like a day unless like I am assuming that this redshift will last another day or so, but
Uh, Nimbus, do you have control water?
oh wow, yeah, magic.
Yeah, I was just looking. I don't actually have control water up right at this moment. I have
Oh,
ice
that's too bad.
storm.
Oh, I was thinking you could drive the water out of a coral. That's all.
Yeah, I was thinking
Oh,
that.
I don't know that I could necessarily do that with control water.
A lot of like open container natural pools sort of thing, right?
Yeah, it'd be like I can raise the tide or do floods, part
Yeah.
water, redirect flows, whirlpools.
So it's more like suggest water.
Well, that could actually be really interesting as a distraction, couldn't it?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. Like even independent this encounter, that's actually a hella useful use of that ability.
Right. But we're talking about something that normally is found deep in the water, underground. I mean, completely underwater. So if we could produce cubes of water or something like that, that could be a hell of a distraction. It's like, oh, holy crap, look at that water.
I could just make a cube of water and push it in for them.
Well, I think I can too. Can't
I
I?
I can just do it with endless water on my bracelet. I don't have to cast spells to do that.
Oh, nice.
It's
Okay.
just that, and then the shape water cantrip to cube it up. So if you want, I can feed them
Oh,
a
I don't
cube of
have that.
water.
I don't have it prepared, so I can't do it anyway. But I think that might be a really interesting thing to do and see what happens. Because we can cast that from over here, right?
Yeah,
We don't have to be in the middle of all that.
it's
So
a
I would pick a spot and create water and have it be either a sphere or a cube or something.
well, shape water has a range of 30, but
Okay. Well, can you create water?
create. No, I have control. I have
I thought
the
you had create.
no.
No, he has
I
that.
mean, I do
magic
have
item.
it. I just don't have it up right now. Is it a ritual? It's not a ritual.
Let me look and see what I got here.
And I've got the bracelet to shoots water.
It shoots water?
Yeah,
Is that all? Is that what it does?
the bracelet is basically the decanter of endless water, but I'm able to use it to shoot water out at a high speed to knock people over
Oh,
or launch
yeah.
projectiles.
I only have control water prepared. But that means water's already got to be pre-existing.
Right. I
Crap.
mean,
Okay.
that said, I can make water that you could control with control water. It would just take a little while to make a puddle that you can start raising up 10 feet at a time or whatever. Flood the area.
Well, it just makes me wonder if we produce. Let me look at this thing. Control water. The range there is nice, 300 feet. Freestanding water inside an area that is a cube up to 100 feet on the side. I mean, we could create a huge cube of water for this forest and then kind of see you bye and go away. We can flood.
Yeah,
Or,
honestly, if we just dig up a hole and kind of tamp it down a bit so it can hold water for a moment, I can get the water in there and then we just flood from there. And I think raising it 20 feet
is 20 feet enough to cover most of those trees, sir?
Yeah. Does that create water? Like, if you had like a tub of water and then raised it, would you be able to raise a tub of water 20 feet and flood everything around that tub?
It says you control any freestanding water inside an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet long on the side. You can choose from any of the following when you cast the spell.
Right. I'm thinking like, is the intention that like you're
Oh, I see
Mosesing
what
the
you're saying.
existing
Am
water, or
I extruding water
like
out of nothing,
you're not
or
using like the Sims fill up to line tool, right? With like a little tub in, if you put a tub of water in like a pit and then you say raise water, it's not gonna like fill the whole pit with water, right? You just get a pillar of water sticking out of the tub that you're controlling.
yeah,
I don't know. If there's any water around, I can shape it into something that could be really kind of useful and definitely distracting for Coral.
I just wanted to chop down one tree, and now you're talking about flooding the entire grove.
as a distraction.
Lauren, which is more destructive to the traditional wildlife of a grove? An entire flood, or one lone person chopping down a single tree to see if it's useful or not?
Well, even in the case of an aspen colony, cutting down an aspen would be less of an impact than flooding the whole forest, sure.
In the coal mines that I used to work in, there was a trick that we could do going on this water thing where we'd put wet bandanas over our faces. We can just find one outlier tree and see what happens. I'm sure we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think your plan of finding, picking one from the edge of the herd, so to speak, is definitely the right way to go, regardless. If we do get a response that is dangerous and from everyone, having the ability to do something on a large scale is still useful, though.
Good point.
I don't know, if there's like a prep time concern. I mean, these creatures are simple, so they're not going to realize what we're doing. So we should be safe to prep if we need to.
Right.
My
If they
concern.
are, we've been talking out loud, so we're already doomed.
Right. I was going to say my concern really isn't so much that we're going to murder an intelligent creature so much as it is that we would destroy what amounts to a natural wonder. So I'd like to avoid that if we can.
Yeah, I guess we were just discussing hypotheticals as some sort of distraction. I can just spray a bunch of water at them and see how that works.
Can you water that?
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, totally. Well, I mean, with that bracelet of his, technically, you probably could.
Yeah, 30 feet long, 1 foot wide, 30-gallon.
Yeah,
blast
get
per
some
shot.
grit. Get some grit in that water, and you could probably cut with it.
I can have it come out of salt water.
There you go. Yeah. No. I mean, that said, I think that like if we're really going to talk about a plan and doing this safely, then what we want to do is we want to find the most isolated full tree. I don't think we want to bother with a little bush. Is that correct, Alice?
Yeah, exactly. We just won't
yeah, then we find it. We get ready to do anything if there's a response. Otherwise, Alvis, I think I will embiggen my sword and attempt to cut the tree down with it.
Don't use your sword. It's much too knightly. You can't use my rapier. Use my knife. You can embiggen my knife.
I could embiggen your knife. That would be fine. Yeah.
Hey, this one's meant for work. Sure, it's not meant for like cutting down trees, but your sword, man.
Well, I mean, it's hard steel. I was just thinking, if this is going to be stone, like we're gonna need a decent blade. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Well, yeah, okay, so you embiggen the knife, and you're able to find a small-ish, thin-ish coral off on the edge. And Montlarin, you give it a few whacks, a few hacks. As you strike, fortunately your knife is pretty big right now, so you have the weight behind it that is overpowering the hardness of the coral. It is you're sort of blasting and shattering away at this. You're hardly chopping at all. It's really sort of smashing at a certain point. But you're able to, relatively speaking, develop a clean cut through, and then, halfway through, tip the thing over, snap it at the joint, and you have uh, maybe it's like a 5 foot tall, 8 inch wide, uh, log of coral.
Okay. Was there any response from the rest of the colony here?
No, nothing at all.
Okay. Then I will pull it away from the rest of the grove, and then kind of point at it in a sort of gesture.
Here's our sample.
All right. So what are we going to team carry this one back, or
we could build a toboggan?
What about the disc?
if
We
we
got
have
the
rope,
disc.
Disc
We
is
could-
only going to carry 500 pounds. This thing's going to be pretty heavy.
I was thinking that we could just drag it through the sand behind us. I mean, it's
Like a
stone.
sledge.
Yeah,
Toboggan? I just like the word toboggan.
it is
It's a good
fun
word.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably find something to get underneath it to help it get over any of the bumps or rocks or anything we come across. Not have it dragging the entire way and losing bits and chunks.
right. Not effectively pulling a plow behind us.
It would also be pretty easy for you to maybe cut it in half one more time, and then at that point it's easily strappable.
Right. Then you could put it on the back of a phantom steed or something.
So did we not have to do the water thing?
Apparently
No.
not.
Okay.
I am kind of curious. Yeah, I am kind of curious how this coral would react to the presence of a lot of water.
Me too. I'm curious.
I don't understand how it's alive. You know
Do
what
you
I
want me
mean?
to spray down some other independent tree or something? See how it does?
I mean, it's worth a shot.
All right.
If it doesn't cost you anything besides a couple minutes of time.
No, doesn't cost me anything. Should it get normal water or salt water? Clear water, salt water.
Is
Salt,
there
I
fresh
think.
water coral? Yeah, salt water.
Salt water it is.
All right, you blast one of the corals with a blast of salt water.
No, I don't think I would necessarily blast it. I think I would.
not a blast, just a
Yeah,
whoosh.
just a pour.
Okay.
Watering it. Yeah.
You water one of the corals with some salt water. The sand greedily sucks up the water, obviously. And the corals are drenched.
Can Naya still hear anything?
If you want to recast the spell, yeah, anytime. That's totally fine. You could do it as a.
Oh, has it
ritual
been
if
longer
you
than
want.
10 minutes?
I don't know, but you could keep the
Well,
spell
while
up pretty
the
easily.
tree was being cut down, I'm sure you could have cast it again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you really want to listen to that?
Well, it takes a spell slot, so I don't really want to cast it again if it has expired. But
You
I
do have
am
it as
curious
a-
what the reaction was.
You do have it as a ritual, right? So if you really wanted to, you could.
No, it's not a ritual. It is 3rd level transmutation.
Speak with
Wow,
animals.
it's not a
Animals?
ritual?
Not speak with
Uh,
plants. Speak
Animals
with
is.
animals.
Yeah, my version is.
Oh, speak with plants. Speak with animals. Oh, maybe I did the wrong thing.
No, you did it correctly originally. Yeah, and it does say ritual on it.
Speak with animals. So I had the one I ticked off as speak with plants, but it should be speak with animals.
You did cast one speak
You
with
did,
plants.
yeah. You did
but
try to speak with plants.
The speak with animals were free because they were ritual.
So yeah, if you do want to keep up ritual casting, Matt, you can.
So I'd be able to ask one how they like the
It's
salt water.
not giving me the pop up.
It's okay. You don't have. We don't need Roll20 to click it.
All right.
Because we know how the spell works. So just tell me if you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Your million voices that you can hear from this watered tree, it is simply a million voices of ooh and ah.
Okay. Yeah. Ah
Ooh,
is what I expected.
And then the one from the stump of the tree that Monlauren chopped down is ah.
Well, I don't know if it's
Slightly
close
different.
enough to that one.
The range is self. What's weird about the speak with animals? It doesn't have a range radius like the other one does. So I'm assuming it's as far
Oh
as
yeah,
she can
true.
hear. Whereas the plants one, you get a weird like muffled cutoff after 30 feet.
You're
Though
right.
I'd be surprised if anybody in a reasonably loud room could hear you from 30 feet away. I might just be like internet headphone deaf, but 30 feet away in like a cafe filled with people talking.
So what's next?
So we have a log of this stuff here ready to go for once we want to leave the immediate area. But
I think we can
like
probably head out.
are
Well,
you sure? I
I'm
mean,
gonna-
everybody doesn't want to explore the thing, but we can go around the grove. We don't have to go inside of it in order to effectively.
I think
scout
if there
the
was,
area.
I'm guessing that there was enough water poured onto this grove that the pink mist might subside. The trees, the coral trees would be happy. But, we can't keep it up.
No, I don't want to keep watering it. I just want to see what's around the area.
Yeah, I can just be blasting salt water as we go around
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
in like a high arc, so it kind of mists
Rain.
up and it gets down in a good distance, disperses well.
Okay. Yeah, you can before nightfall you'd be able to do a lap around this little woods. And Nimbus you could generate some kind of very light rainfall if you wanted while doing that. What you find is nothing particularly outstanding wherever you check. It seems this area is kind of self-contained. Um, it is simply in this little basin here, uh, in the sands, is a perhaps again mile wide little cluster of coral trees.
Hmm. I really want to know if there's anything inside, but we probably need to get the samples back and, see how safe it is for us to actually go in.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a mile wide and we feel relatively safe in our prep, we could walk through it relatively quickly.
I do have my canary. If anything happens to him, they'll just turn around and leave.
I really don't recommend walking through it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm admittedly suspicious, but it's been relatively safe so far. I mean, in fact, I kind of think we're the assholes so far, you know?
Yeah, I concur.
I mean, we watered it, tit for tat.
Yes, let me just murder a million of you. I'm sure that's the same. Here, have this glass of water.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah, so like I don't know that it's safe. Like I said, I'm still kind of suspicious, but it does seem like it's safer than I expected it would be. That said, I'm not really voting to walk through. I'm just saying, it's probably okay.
Probably okay.
Other than trying to maybe capture some of the spores in flight, to have them investigated, I can't really think of much else. We definitely would want to know what we're getting into before we go into something like that.
Yeah, like if all of this coral is the result of some, magical, terrible thing in the middle, it would kind of suck to just wander into it.
Yeah.
I think the mist is probably more dangerous than the actual trees.
Well, then we should, like I said, try to get a sample of some of the mist in flight.
Well, I mean, how would you do that? Do you have a jar? Do you have a big pouch?
Yeah, a leather bag.
I only
and
have
mage
small
hand.
pouches.
How far does that mage hand go these days?
30 feet. But at this point, it's dusk, and there's not really any fog at all around.
I mean, I
Maybe
think that these are
this could be our
redshifted.
time to check it out.
I think they're redshifted, and they're doing as well as they can.
This is our time down here.
Well, no. If the fog is subsided because of it's gotten colder.
Yeah, then it could just be regular fog.
It could just be regular fog, but then the other thing I'm thinking is this could be our opportunity to kind of explore it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, if the air is clear, this would probably be a better time than when it wasn't.
Right?
Well, shall we grab some light sources or whatever and head on in?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my nose and mouth covered still, but yeah.
Wet my bandana.
Covering up is a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all enter and take a few steps in.
And that was the end of the Redshift campaign.
As you proceed, you notice some additional shapes dotted around some of the coral trees. And before too long, you realize that you appear to be surrounded by loads and loads of large starfish of varying sizes amongst
Oh,
the
no.
trees.
Why didn't you
for the
notice
most-
those when you were talking to animals?
For the most part, they are just kind of hanging out on the branches and stuff, or up on the trunks. Here and there, you see one kind of just doddering around the sand, or hanging out in a bush. But they're mostly up in the trees.
I wonder if they're edible.
And there's that gigantor one on that mega tree over there.
Yeah, you might be able to just see that through the branches and stuff. The one very big
Are these
coral tree with a very big starfish.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good
giant
idea.
spokes?
No, if you cut their legs off, they're just gonna grow more starfish.
Oh, that's why we have fire.
Are they in any way responding to us, or are they just going about their starfishy day?
They are just doing what starfish do.
And they're just, part of the voices. Because
Oh,
they're an animal as well.
Do you still have speak with animals?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're not talking directly to them, nothing stands out that isn't just adding to the choral cacophony, right?
Right.
Oh, you're gonna try talking to one then?
Perhaps these slightly higher order creatures might produce some dialogue if you spoke directly to them, you think? But otherwise, they seem content to let you go about your business.
I am highly interested in. Is that metal that I'm seeing?
Yeah, what are those wheels?
Yeah, are they spokes?
You do see a metal-looking chunk in the sand ahead of you. You can also see, yes, there is a very large sort of metal wheel, half stuck in the largest tree.
A little small one over there too, by the waters there. But I guess that one is super impressive.
Yeah, you might be able to see some of those again. You're behind trees and whatnot, so.
Yeah, and can we see that pool that's on the map, or is it more like we're not there yet?
You'd probably be able to see the edge of it at least. There's a little bunch of rocks clustered kind of in a circle.
Ooh, we found the oasis.
You might be able to see that there is indeed a pool.
From what I know from geology, this land might be all over a underwater pool.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is all redshifted.
Yeah, I wonder I wonder if there used to be, a lake or a spring here or something
Yeah,
before
it
the
might have been
redshift.
underwater, or the terrain might have changed, or the actual animals were changed, or something, obviously. And I'm guessing maybe the terrain changed.
Uh,
Starfish are pretty mobile, but coral is not usually.
yeah,
Can
well,
be.
sorry. Starfish can and, will eat coral. So I wonder if the voices you heard that are like, yeah, I ate recently, were the starfish and not the coral.
Yeah, right.
No, it's a hard one to kind of try to discern anything. Um,
Yeah, but like my thought would be, if we can avoid the starfish, and as long as they avoid us, we might want to, try to traverse all the way across. Because like I'd like to see that pool, and I would also like to look at some of these metal objects that we can see. I think that there's a story here that might be of interest to us.
I might want to get one of the smaller starfish while we're on our way out too. You know.
I just wonder if we continue to put salt water onto the coral and the starfish, if it would appease things, kind of. I'm a little concerned about the big ones.
Well, I can keep it coming. If
I
you're
think
if
that
you're
might be a good idea.
if you can ask them, that would make it that much safer a prospect.
Right. I mean, we got a ways to go here. Well, we've just got to get over there, but I'm a little concerned about the big ones. And it's really
That's what
hard to
she said.
discern one voice out of a million.
Yes. You all can move your tokens, by the way. You don't need to roll initiative or anything.
Serb, is there any kind of like a hum or a bass sound which might be attributable to a larger creature? Like a bass
Uh,
tone amongst all the cacophony. Is there a more of a bass tone?
Not really, but like I said, it's probable that if you decided to talk directly to one of these starfish, you might get a intelligible response.
I don't know why,
Um,
but starfish in my head talk in a high pitched tone, not in a bass tone.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the biggest one here, and it's 4 times our size.
No, I know it's 4 times our size, but I still imagine fucking high pitched squealing whale talk.
Ah, I see.
Montlarin, that is a sheet of metal.
Let us take a
What kind of
sample of
metal?
it.
It could be steel.
Uh,
Is Alvestafford the type to have an appraiser stone on him?
I don't think that's part of your inventory, or you haven't said it is.
Eh. There are a lot of things that are tools and stuff that they're just here that are.
Do you have like a appraiser's toolkit or something like that?
Nah, good point.
uh, what's the condition of the metal? What do the edges look like? And is there any like discernible markings on it?
It looks like it's been buried probably for a long time and potentially sandblasted. It looks kind of gritty, not really smooth or shiny for the
Right.
most part.
It looked like it might have come from a wreck, a shipwreck.
It it doesn't have any markings that you can find. Um, and you're not sure how deeply buried it is or how much work it would be to unbury it.
Right. Are the edges smooth or ragged or bent or twisted?
They're kind of sharp, like sharply cut, I guess.
Right, but
Although
like a clean edge, basically.
clean edge, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's a really big piece of metal. I don't know. I think Naya's theory of a shipwreck or something may be right, though. Hell of a ship to be made out of metal.
Right.
Well, and do you see that wheel thing up further? That's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge. So it might not have been a shipwreck thing, but it's like, how did these creatures that normally are significantly underwater end up not only above water, but significantly above water and in the middle of the desert? So at one time, it suggests either this was all underwater or they've been redshifted to this condition.
Yeah, I mean, I
Or
suppose
something we don't know.
right. I
Yeah, like
suppose
maybe
another possibility is that none of this is from here at all.
right. It's big. It's a slice of somewhere else that was stuck.
Right. I mean, we have seen that happen before.
Right.
Yeah. So what's this? What's this pool look like?
Uh, it's a shallow pool, maybe about 2 feet deep. Rocky. The water, it looks fairly clear, but it has a sort of very slightly smoky, almost you might say sulfuric quality to it.
Right.
Anybody have detect
I'll
poison
toss a
or disease
I'll toss
prepared?
a gold coin into it. What happens?
It it the gold coin the gold coin generates a vigorous amount of bubbling around it as it goes down, but then it tinks to the bottom and that kind of calms down. So you've just sort of generated this small little jet of bubbles that sort of spread out over the surface and clear away after a
Got it.
moment.
That
Yeah. So
suggests poison
pr-
or something.
yeah, probably don't want to drink that or touch it.
Yeah,
No.
it doesn't look to be the most potable thing. Uh, Fairly hard water, you might say.
Right. Uh, yeah, that's interesting. Actually, I when I saw the pool originally, I thought, oh, that must be what's keeping them alive. But they're hardy sons of bitches if that's the case.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe they're the reason why it's that way.
That's a good point.
Is there, if we added water to that pool, like salt water?
Okay, wait. What's the rules? Is it don't add water to acid, or is it don't add acid to water?
Water.
I don't know.
Nope, it's acid to water. Because
I'm
it
just
was
wondering if it would eventually displace the proportion of acid.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you could dilute it to some degree at least, right?
Right.
Assuming that it's not fed from some eternal spring of horribleness.
Right. All right. So as we've been making our way through here, trying not to stir up too much, Naya is mentally projecting a very calm, um, somewhat low voice of just saying hello, hello. Um, is she getting any kind of response, sir?
You do as you pass each tree, you do get some very distinct hellos back from the creatures sitting upon the trees.
Is there a way to
Yes.
tell if it's the tree talking or the creatures on the tree talking? Is there a
Yeah,
way for her to
because
discern that?
you can hear the you can hear much more clearly the hellos from the starfish than the undercurrent mass of millions of microscopic voices um, from the coral. So there's that deep roar of the cafeteria, and then from the starfish you get your hellos. Hello, hello, new person,
Well, it's
stranger,
nice that they seem
wanderer.
friendly.
Yeah,
I
they
wonder if
are.
they're edible.
At least docile.
Well, so far they are anyway. I'm really curious about a lot of things, but I'm also a little cautious about how to ask. Um,
Do you taste good?
no, I wasn't going to ask that one. um,
Unusual visitor.
yeah. I think I'm curious how they manage to live, but I don't know how to ask that. So I think I would probably ask if just kind of generally speaking to these more individual voices, the starfish, if some water would be desirable. Since the water in the pool does not seem to be very useful.
You get a couple responses all at once because you're
Okay.
talking to a tree full of starfish.
All right. Okay.
And the biggest one in the tree next to you says, "No need," and the smaller ones say, "No, no, thank you.
So
Air is plenty."
air is plenty. Okay.
Filter
Okay.
feeders. I wonder if we could farm them.
So they've all become breatharians since they were redshifted. Okay. Well,
Sunlight, coral. That's all you need.
yeah, I'm a little bit reticent to ask about their prior existence because I don't know if it was 1,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago or last week. And they don't seem to be unhappy.
Animals generally only can tell you about a day or two.
Right.
While I'm
Especially
following,
lower order creatures.
while I'm following Bet, I'm checking out these other smaller pink and greenish plants. Yellow.
Yeah, those are the little bushes that I described, like the thinner, similar to the coral that you're seeing, but like filament pieces that sprout out of the ground.
I'll try to take some samples of those too.
Easy enough, you can snap them off like twigs.
There's
Yeah.
probably 1,000 questions I could ask, but none of them seem particularly useful. So,
Uh, so are these wheel-like things actually wheels?
Yeah.
It does sort of resemble a wheel, although not one that you well, you guys, yeah, it's kind of like a wooden wagon wheel, except it's made of metal for some
and it's
reason.
huge.
It's also very big.
It's not like serrated like a gear, right?
No, yeah, you're not sure what it must have been used for at some point, if anything. Um, but it
Could be a
this one
flywheel,
is
I guess.
about half buried.
Right. I have the same thought.
Do you want to try to unbury this? We bring this
Well,
back.
we would end up displacing the biggest starfish out here. So I don't
Oh,
think that's a
not
good
Oh
the
idea.
no,
big
we're
one.
looking
This
at a
one right
much,
over
much
here.
smaller one. Yeah.
Which the one
Over on the east side of the pool.
Okay.
I mean, it's still pretty big. And you said this metal is probably steel or something like it.
But it
Yeah,
rolls, bro.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try my hand at uncovering it. At least a bit. I'm actually even kind of curious to see if the composition of the sand changes after a foot or two. So it's
Oh,
worth it for me
well, if
anyway.
that's the
It
case, then I'd
is.
be using mold earth to help them out with that.
Oh yeah, then it should only take a couple minutes in that case.
If somebody else wants to dig it out, I'm joking.
And you are able to extract a very large wheel that seems like it might be pretty hard to transport. This thing is about you know 15, 20 feet in diameter.
It rolls.
And the whole
15
thing
probably.
actually came out of the sand?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
if we can stick a pole in it and hold it high, just kind of act like an axle.
Yeah,
You
just
can do
roll
that.
it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
just
a
roll it home. Yeah.
giant steel wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, can you imagine? Smitty would just love to get his hands on that much metal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean
pretty useful.
it's useful, I suppose, as a source of steel.
Or as a giant steel wheel.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like as far as what's revealed, it's literally hubbed like a wagon wheel or something like that. Like
Pretty much, yeah. It's got a centerpiece, like axle piece, and it's hard to tell how it might have been connected to anything in the past. That fact may be eroded, uh, but um, it is indeed some kind of wheel.
yeah, I've seen. I guess you would call them artificers here. I have seen artificers build things that used spinning parts to stabilize things. I wonder if these were something like that. I don't know that there's really a lot of value in bringing this back. It doesn't seem special beyond its size, but
Well, the simple amount of metal could be valuable to the commission.
right. But I mean, that's something we could send another team for if that's the case. Like this place, I mean, is a treasure trove of steel, for
Right.
that matter. But it's worth noting that if the right minds were at work here, they may be able to reassemble whatever all of this metal was.
True.
That would be amazing.
Pretty exploded.
Yeah, and we were talking about a long-term project. This is not something I would be doing. But,
Well, and there's another piece of what looks like sheet metal down southeast of the pool, or
Right.
east
Similar to the other
east
one that you
southeast.
found.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a suspicion. Admittedly, I'm probably being influenced by the sort of nautical theme of the area, but I have a suspicion that we're looking at the remains of the engine of some sort of ship.
It could be. I mean, how long ago was it when all of this was underwater?
Right, or maybe it was never underwater. And maybe this
It was transported.
right, maybe this came from a place where air is water and vice versa, so to speak.
Right, okay.
I honestly, I'm purely speculating. I have no idea. But I do think that the more scholarly among our expedition would be interested in this place.
Yes, I agree.
I am not gonna lie. I'm a little creeped out by the let's call them the stars in the sky.
I kind of want to see if they're edible.
Gross.
Yeah, they kind of creep me out.
Wasn't there one on the piece of coral that you broke? There
Not the
was no
small one.
starfish on that piece?
It was super small.
No, the starfish are mostly clustered around the center of this woods.
Oh, okay.
As you get to the outskirts, there are less and less of them. You didn't notice them until you got a little ways in.
Right. But yeah, like right now they ain't hurting us, so I have no desire to hurt them.
Yeah, me either. But they are kind of creepy, and I think I just soon leave. Honestly, head back. We came here to find out what it was. We found out some things. We may not have discerned the entirety of what is it, but I don't think I really want to tackle them. They're not hurting us, and they're not hostile so far.
Right. I also wouldn't like to figure out what flips the switch if there is something. I would rather leave with them still docile. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. I mean, we've got our coral sample, so that'll be good.
Yeah, I wish there were some smaller pieces of metal so we could take it back to confirm it actually was steel and not something more esoteric.
But yeah, they are all pretty big chunks that you can find.
Yeah.
It's a wheel.
Yeah, we're already dealing with a tree. I don't know that trying to wheel this back in the sand is a thing that we're up to.
Yeah, it would be fairly difficult.
But not impossible.
No, that's true. If we ever get the skiff working, we could come back and potentially mount the wheel on the skiff.
You know,
That's about it.
you know, I actually got an even better idea. We could try to get one of the flatter pieces out of the ground, and then we could attach it to the back of your horse, and it could be the toboggan that carries the coral back.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so like eyeballing the smaller of the two pieces, that's 15 feet across and at least 10 feet high. So like 150 square feet of steel.
Very big, very heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, how heavy would you be if you were actually wearing full plate? Isn't Bent Mounted trained for that?
Yeah, but if you were to lay my plate down on the ground, it would not take up 150 square feet of steel.
Sure. That's why he's dragging it, not like fully carrying it.
I'm just saying it might take up 5 square feet of steel.
Yeah.
And thinner at that.
Right, and it certainly that looks like it's a foot thick. Like
Yeah,
that's probably
maybe a good
tons.
6 inches, right?
You know what I mean? Like that's probably tons of steel represented in that piece.
Yeah.
If we had the means to, slice it up, then we could just cut a toboggan piece out of it, like without even having to dig the rest of it out. But I don't think we have that capability.
Yeah.
No,
So yeah, I think I'm on team report back for now.
no welding gun cantrip.
Right. Maybe if you could use shocking grasp, you could arc weld it.
Oh fuck.
Put one hand on either side and
Right. Yeah, jokes aside, though, I think that unless we are willing to commit a Holocaust, I don't know that there's anything more we can actually do here.
Right.
Yeah,
Short of like sifting through the sand and being archaeological.
Yeah, unless there were some smaller pieces of metal that we were gonna try to find and bring back for sample's sake, or you wanted to try to bang a chunk off or something. I think we're about done. I'm not sure what else we should really do here unless we are going to try to reach out and communicate with the big starfish for some reason. They seem like they're just kind of passively hanging around, hoping not to get eaten by a predator.
I'm not even sure they're that worried about that. But yeah, I think they're just kind of, so far anyway, they seem quite docile and passive and disinterested. I'm in the camp of live and let live, and let's head back.
Yeah, they don't seem to be coming for us. I figure we can.
We can send another party out if we want. Talk to Smitty in terms of, hey, we found a cache of an incredible amount of steel, but it's like really, really big pieces of steel. Do you want this? Do you want to send a team out? I mean, it's huge.
Also, if there's any use for this coral stuff.
Yeah, and I do think, the fact that we're bringing a sample back will answer that question for us without causing any more harm here.
Yeah. What's with these bushes here? Are they also coral?
Yeah.
Yeah, Albus Tabor was able to collect a couple pieces of those filament kind of coral pieces
Okie dokie.
to twigs.
Neat.
All right. Well,
I
let's head
guess
out.
did we get a vial of the sulfur girl bathwater here?
Well, I didn't know.
I think that's something we should do. In case
Somebody
it's
have a
something.
vial?
Yeah, I don't have
Usually
a
I
glass
carry
vial.
an empty one.
It's mage hand
Yeah.
scoop. Easy enough. You've got
Doesn't the
some
mage
scoop.
hand go away if it takes a point of damage?
I think so, but it doesn't do that. So
Nice.
you've got a vial of slightly murky water.
Was that it, or I thought the mage hand couldn't take damage?
Well, in either case, it works.
Yeah.
There's a
All
little
right.
bit of a hand wave
the
in there.
distinction here doesn't matter.
All right. Is the water itself pink?
No, everything is as you see it.
All right. Sulfur water. Cool. Well, let's exit this space and make a camp and think about heading back.
All right, yeah, because it is.
Yeah, I'd
it
like
is
to be
becoming
far enough away from this camp
nighttime rapidly.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
not be anywhere near the camp. This place.
Right. I mean, nothing's gonna get in through the tiny hut anyway. But
Right, but
still, just to
can
be
you imagine
further
how
away is
shocked
safe.
we would all be to wake up to being surrounded by coral?
Yeah,
right.
That would not be fun.
Yeah,
So
no, I would expect we want to be away. We still don't know with the daytime if the fog is actually safe or not. So
right, yeah.
not risking it.
Okay. Yes. So you guys head a little ways away, just far enough to set up your tiny hut and spend the night camping, and then the plan is to report back to Jose with the materials found.
Yeah.
And
If it wouldn't be too big of a problem, I'd kind of want to take a little bit of an extra tread just a few steps further into the desert and then back to try to clear more of the map.
sure. Let us break here right before you guys head back, and then next time we'll do any further little minor exploration, and then run back home as soon as the redshift begins.
Sounds good.
Right, just
Yep, sounds good.
Cool.
Thanks for the
All
session, man.
yeah,
You're
absolutely.
welcome, everyone. Thanks for
Thanks, sir.
joining. So we're gonna stick to the usual schedule. So we're off next week, and then back the week after.
Sounds
Right
good.
on.
Cool, man. Sounds good.
Cool. I will see you there.
All right. Have a good
Later.
one. Later.
Cool.
everybody.
Night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good day.